hoping to be ready before 8, but the day got away from me. So let's just make sure that we've got our quality options. We do. Stellaris is loading up, and while I might be a little bit later in starting, I will try to make sure that I follow through with a full duration for the playthrough. Please forgive me though, because I quite literally just finished eating. So I need some water and just generally trying to get myself into streaming mode. I've been delighted by the YouTube comments on this lately. So I was worried that perhaps, you know, my time as a Stellaris streamer was sort of at an end, that maybe people had found their other things. Now, of course, I'm not going to be, I don't know, like an A-Spec or Alex the Rambler or something like that, or No Virtue, but it is a lot of fun that, I think it is a lot of fun to see that people are still into this approach to Stellaris. I've really enjoyed streaming this game from its release, really, and it's been fun to sort of grow alongside the game. So as far as I'm concerned, like, we'll carry on with this playthrough. My intention in making the smaller galaxy was to try and get the action going a little bit earlier. Now, the drawback seems to be that there's some more advanced starts in the galaxy, and I'm already sort of behind everybody. So it may still be that there's a bit of a stalemate while I try and navigate that. But I don't know. It's worth giving it a shot. I guess, given the state of things, I'll admit this is one of the weirder ones when I've let the random numbers generate. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm a little glad that I put the difficulty down, because I have a feeling I will struggle with some of the battles that'll be coming up. But it is a chance for me to try and grow, both in terms of managing problems, as well as make my empire bigger. So let's take a look. Let's just generally take a look at where we are in the grand scheme of things, and see if there's anything that we can accomplish. Or maybe like see what we're trying to accomplish over the next little while. So problem number 1 is the fact that we have the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation, who really do not have a good opinion of me. And they never will, because they are materialists and egalitarian. So that's kind of two dimensions across which they, they outdo me. We are starting to get a little bit more information on them through the intelligence services, the whole reason why this, my species exists. And I'd say overall, it's not super encouraging, let's say. Oh, you know what's kind of funny here? I'm very curious about this. So we have a base diplomatic weight of 1275, but it's an equation, like, there's 4 unknowns and we know 3. So okay, I gotta see if this number makes any sense. 1275, then we subtract 307 for the pops, 267 for the economy. And then we subtract 332 from the technology, which would mean that their most powerful attribute is fleet power at 369. So that number isn't incredible as far as, like, in terms of just overall calculations. Like, that number doesn't seem to be too... that number doesn't seem to be something that would be ridiculous on the face of it. This, by the way, is actually a problem I have had to solve in a statistical context. There are cases where you want to be informative to your readers, but you may be dealing with someone's private information, and there's a number of calculations that you can do and adjustments you can make to your data to ensure that these kinds of adjustments can't be done. This was very simple, right? This is the kind of algebra that you would have done in elementary school. But once you start releasing data in tables and allowing people to sort of do cross tabulations, you really don't want to be doing that work by hand. So there's a fun little bit of background. I wonder if this is intentional or not. It sort of feels like half of the wings are missing. Okay, so let's operate with the hypothesis that our enemies have a fleet power of 369. Let's see what we've got. I don't even know where I would find that number. Probably at least in the Galactic community. Not even close. 136 fleet power, so they have twice as much as I do. Okay, so what I need to be relying on for the next little while then, we don't have an idea in terms of what these are packing. That's going to be a pretty high priority for me to get this number up. Mestros, I believe we're already rocking. Well, we'll have reasonably soon. We'll have max defense platforms. I do need to make some decisions in terms of extra buildings. We've already got the disruption fields down. But yeah, until I can get just a more vicious navy, full stop, I need to be thinking about the good counters to what the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation can throw at me, and more importantly, I need to try and find some kind of defensive alliance to give them a reason not to fight me. In truth, so there's one thing that I can say. If we lose Mestros, that's not the end of the world, because it now means that the Vitresis Hive becomes a threat to the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation. But that's pretty cold comfort. My intention definitely is to blob out across as much of the galaxy as possible, because of course that's going to be giving me my extra sort of productive capacity. That's going to allow me to build bigger, scarier fleets, and just generally try and get myself out of this rather stagnant situation. I'm also trying to find out if there were mistakes that I made earlier on that have caused me to be in this rather dismal state of affairs, or if it just happens to be that I was unlucky in terms of just my placement in the overall galaxy. So let's do. I think at this point I need to do a full review of my my available resources. So construction ships are expanding out to all the various territories. That's what I want. We've got a colony ship on its way to Ugrasil. Oh, sorry, Ugarasti, and then we should follow up with Tay in not sorry, not too much further. Okay, we've got one assist. So this is an automatic survey. So that's going to be open in a little bit. Okay, so we've got 2 research assistants. Okay, so this isn't... I'm going to be honest, this is not my most exciting application for science ships, but I think at this point here, we'll just throw them onto as many worlds in which we can do science assisting. I kind of went bonkers with these, I think. No, wait, that doesn't make any sense. There's so much more galaxy to be checking out. I need to mobilize the fleet. Okay, well, with that in mind then, we'll get this fleet into position. We will have archaeology, so I want to have at least one in Jabbath. Ideally one who is good at archaeology, so let's maybe just verify that. Okay, actually, my side ships aren't quite as idle as they seem to be. It's more of a question in terms of whether or not I've found anything interesting for them to do. We are also going to be opening up the wormholes before too long, so that's going to give me a much better idea in terms of the viability of some of my defenses. So, speaking of defenses, I think, as much as it pains me to do so, I'm going to move my fleet to an inconvenient part of the galaxy and get rid of some of the riffraff. I would ideally like to take on sort of weak and easy targets so I don't lose stuff. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to start... Yeah. I was going to start by clearing out the creatures we found here. We are going to go crashing through this system. You know what? Let's do this right. Let's take them out at a proper pace. Actually, let's be even smarter about it. We'll go around. We'll take out one cluster first. Sorry, I'm not even remotely close to... Not even remotely close ready to unpausing. Okay, so that's some of my idle workers spoken for. I could probably be messing around a little bit with the super... Why can't the super clanker combine with these guys again? They can. But I suspect Nova and the Kanala Starfleet can. No. It's tempting to add them, but well, okay. There's no point in having ships if I don't use them. Okay, so that's dealt with. My economy is still a little bit wonky. So again, we're still on a shortage of consumer goods. I do eventually want to have a consumer goods world, but I also need to... So there's two constraints on my growth right now. So I know I'm sort of talking to myself a bit, which is not necessarily the best for really talking about strategies. But yeah, there's two major considerations and constraints on my growth. One is my empire sprawl, which on its own is not something that's going to stop me. I've had plenty of situations in which I've been able to blob out without consequence. But generally, this kind of growth, I want to be something where I can say, all right, I am deciding to take on this extra penalty in terms of empire sprawl because I know the resources that I will gain as a result exceed the penalty that I receive. Normally, this involves things like being able to build new colonies, colonies that are dedicated to science and unity and such, to be able to overcome some of those penalties. And this brings me to the harsher kind of limitation, which is my consumer goods. All of the things that I will be suffering for as a result of the high empire sprawl is due to a lack of consumer goods. Now, I can adjust the footing of my economy to overcome that, but I am still trying to engage in some more long-term thinking, which is specifically geared towards building specialized planets for some of these tasks. So I do eventually want to have worlds that are focused on industry. And that's gonna feed into the empire sprawl. The bigger the worlds you have, the more difficulty you're gonna have along those lines. But the biggest thing that I've sort of been struggling with right now is simply the matter that my worlds grow very slowly. We've got Soggy Oily here. Hello, first time you've managed to catch a stream of mine. Thank you very much. I do get that quite a bit on YouTube. That the hours don't work for people. And I mean, I even for my main viewers, I've not done them any favors because I moved, this is a few years ago now, but I actually moved across the country into Ontario. And, I wound up, that's a 3-hour time shift. I don't blame people for not being able to make it to broadcasts on that. But I don't take attendance, but I'm delighted to know that people who found me through other things are able to find the channel. So thanks for letting me know, and I hope you have a good time here. All right, Intham Prime, we already know what Intham wants to be. Intham wants to be a forge world, but if I do that, that's going to devastate my consumer goods production. So currently 16 of my consumer goods are being produced. That would put me at a deficit of 20. I would run out of consumer goods in a little over 10 months. So eventually what's going to be happening here, maybe more alloy foundries. It's not terrible because, you know, it does allow me to take more of these surplus minerals and turn them into alloys. But in reality, what I would sort of want are the upgrades that I actually don't think I have them in the list yet. The upgrades that would essentially kind of boost my productive capacity for the specialized buildings. So priority number one for Intham really is going to be to convert it into a forge world. Doing so would assume that I've already built out my consumer goods production, which is I'm nowhere even close to. But that's going to be the long-term plan for that. Gribbon is kind of the breadbasket of the Empire, so I don't think we have it yet, but we are going to be getting the percent-based bonus for agriculture districts. But essentially what I want to be doing on this world is just clearing as many blockers to keep me from working on those food tiles as I can. Everything else is just sort of gravy. You know, it's not bad to get the extra city districts and such. It wouldn't be terrible to have some other, you know, other bonuses on the planet. But right now I do really want to focus on making sure that everybody's fed, and eventually we're going to be getting the edict that allows my worlds to grow faster as a result of my food surpluses. We've got Lemsa Prime. Now this is currently listed as a tech world, which is news to me because I believe this is the world that is supposed to turn into my new industrial center. So why did you become a tech? Probably because of the temple. This world is a seat of scientific research. Well, how much research are you really generating? Social. That's exactly what they did. Okay, well, we can already make life a little bit easier for us here. We're going to switch this to an industrial world. Now, we've got... So, this is kind of crummy, right? Because we've got the hostile fauna. That's not great for habitability. That's not great for happiness. It is good for society research. So, you know, Temple wouldn't necessarily be that bad. Some extra research facilities wouldn't be bad. But the fact of the matter is that there's a huge amount of industrial capacity here, and we need it. This is the whole reason we colonized this world, was specifically to be able to turn it into an industrial research center. So it's a shame I can't make this specialization work a little bit better, but it's what I've got. Now, Wentwork Artem is undeniably a research world. So we've got Titanic Life, which gives us a 25% bonus for society research, the Gardens, which give bonuses to culture and research output, and then we have the Custodian, which it does have the red border, so you think it's a negative thing. But the idea here is that even further bonuses to culture and research work, and minuses towards artisans, miners, and gas refineries. So I do want to take advantage of some of the rare planetary features, but essentially what's going to be happening on this world is as many city districts as possible, as many specialist buildings here as I can cram in, and I suppose as like secondary considerations, maybe energy generation. If I have to, I'll do an industrial district, but obviously there's every reason in the world not to have industrial work done on here. I suppose in the end, really, energy and food would be best, although it's not quite built for it. And I think that's it for the other worlds. Should take a quick minute and see where we are. Yeah, so this one isn't really much of anything. We do get extra minerals. This might be an industrial... Yeah, I think I just really took these because I would be able to... because I'd be able to just put more pops on them. And then... Intel falling. I can't remember why this was happening again. So... We've maxed out... All right, I got to remember how this works. So there's a difference between intel levels and infiltration levels. So gather information can actually have a few different effects, I found out. So operatives will compile information on the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation, delivering an intelligence report when complete. Assigning an asset to this operation may skew the results. Spark a diplomatic incident, cause diplomatic embarrassment involving an envoy of the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation. This might be something I could use to turn an enemy against them, I suppose. Prepare sleeper cells, cease activity within the spy network, allowing its spy master to be reassigned while also preventing its infiltration level from decaying. Now, this is definitely the sort of place where we want to do active operations. So I suppose, really what I want to be doing is trying to acquire an asset. Unfortunately, it's the odds aren't great. Let's launch it. Right, this is the Robotic Armies Treaty, so we finished that. Okay. But yeah, so, sorry, one last thing I wanted to check on the worlds, just to make sure that I didn't have any pending unemployment. Everything seems to be 3 or higher or on its way to that, so we can unpause and hope our neighbors don't clobber us in the interim. I am a little bit curious what switching Lemsa to a industrial world. I want to see if that's going to have any major effects. Drain on resources. Spymaster Gan-Aaron recently launched a quiet investigation of his own into his own operatives in the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation after noticing a recent drop in their performance. He has discovered these operatives skimming from resources allocated to intelligence gathering and bribes. These goods and currencies are being reinvested elsewhere in Zaxxon business concerns, earning the operatives a comfortable profit at our expense. As a result, their attention and loyalties have clearly become divided. Progress on Operation Acquire Asset has been put on hold for the moment until Spymaster Gan-Aaron can reassert operational efficiency. So we can say this cannot be tolerated, issue reprimands, or this could give us an interesting edge. Enterprising Spy Network modifier added for 24 months, giving the following effects. Bonus to trade value. That would have been really cool. Hey, Starbright Knight! Long time no see. How are you doing? I saw Miss Ariella playing Marbles on stream the other night. I actually played it exactly once, and I set a record, and so that has ended my career of Marbles on stream. For those of you who've not seen Starbright Knight, they are a wonderful streamer. They do... In fact, I've only seen you play Marbles on stream, but it could just be... my own... the times in which I'm checking out your stuff. But in addition to hosting a really cool stream and doing... they actually were the one to kind of sell me on Marbles on stream. It was great to sort of hang out, and they said some incredibly kind things about the emotes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that just means it's... this just shows how long it's been since I've seen you then. But they said remarkably kind things about my emotes over here. Well, technically not my emotes. There, Eyes of Sin was the one to have made them. But in addition to just being an overall nice person on... sorry, I just got a spam comment on YouTube, which I need to delete. Anyways, my apologies. In addition to being a fun stream to see, it was actually someone who gave some really nice feedback, which made me feel good. And I don't know, I really do I like the emotes quite a bit, and so I like it when other people appreciate them as well. And I realize it probably sounds like a small thing or that, but it is a factor that kind of helps me I don't know, helps give me the energy for more streams and such. You've been missing for a while, so nowhere. Okay, well, I'm glad. I mean, so the fact of the matter is for most stuff, I would prefer to be watching. Like, I would generally prefer to watch more people who either hang out with me, or just just hang out in general. But the other thing I really don't like is, someone to like pretend that they've been watching for a while, and that so I've had the time where it's like, oh, hey, yeah, you're still like playing that Crusader Kings game, right? And it's like, no, actually, I haven't done Crusader Kings in a while, and there's some specific reasons behind that. But that does kind of tell me the last time you were hanging out. So I try to at least come clean on whether or not I've been truant. But please do not do as I say, not as I do, and check out Starbright's stream, whatever they may be playing. And Olaf has decided to grace us with Raiders of the Lost Ark. Spymaster Gan Be'erin regretfully reports a breakdown in our Zaxoid Stellar Confederation spy network. When a group of thieves amongst our operatives was called to account, the response was to flee, scattering to parts of Zaxxon space that even we struggle to monitor. Gan Be'erin... Thank you, all of you. So Olaf, almost 1 year with us. And then, of course, Olaf has also been subsidizing my Miss Ariella subscriptions for so long. And we've got Starbright Knight also sharing the resubscription. You don't need to apologize. It's money to me. I'm very grateful for it. And we've got a third of a year now. So thank you, both of you. I'm glad that you like this stuff enough to keep coming in. Gan Be'erin is no longer able to track them down, at least not without drawing undue attention. So the infiltration level goes down by 5. Enterprising operatives cut tie, so for 2 years we are going to get a lower infiltration speed. Not my favorite. And the spy network is overextended, can no longer support ongoing operations. Ongoing operations are suspended until demands on upkeep and infiltration level can be met. Overall, I'd say that's pretty inconvenient. Coming to the stream is an option? You're right. You're out then. Don't blame you, Olaf. I hope you're all doing well. All right, sorry, I've been ignoring my construction ship. So again, we've been trying to expand pretty rapidly. There is a small argument for filling in the gaps inside here because they do sort of give me energy resources and such. It does kind of come at the cost of additional sprawl, but I'm eventually going to want to conquer these territories anyway. So, it's I don't know. You could debate as to whether or not it's a good use of the resources, but I do probably want to send some ships to grab the other archaeology sites sooner rather than later. But at this point here, we're really just kind of waiting for some of these plans to bear fruit. How are we doing for technology? So we'll have wormhole travel in 2 years, and we will have farming subsidies in 3 months. I guess one good bit of news is that we have a lot of alloys, so these star fortresses will be available relatively early. Some MLG smarts. I'm actually really not feeling like the smart. I'm feeling kind of worn out today. But I guess on the note, a note different from Stellaris, one thing that has happened over the weekend, I was really struggling with a problem, basically a math problem, specifically a problem with a statistic method on the odd. Okay, so I don't expect people who watch the channel to know it, but I might as well give it a name. There is a method known as the Cochrane-Orcutt method. And the reason I'm going to do this is actually because it is if you are trying to solve a problem, being able to explain the problem
The spirits have granted us new wisdom
in plain English can be very helpful. And hopefully this will give you some ideas in terms of how I spend my weekends. Partially because there's stuff not happening in the game, so I will now pause the description and see our next steps. So farming subsidies, Edict provides aggressive economic stimulus for positive quantifiable impacts in food production. I definitely don't need that. And food processing facilities, that is what I want. So that's an additional farmer job, but it's really the plus 15% bonus, although it looks like there isn't the decision that I was looking for. So improved food processing techniques will lead to better preservation methods and less spoilage. So what's my next social? 5734. There's some neat new additions in this DLC. The influence gain is nice, as is the Deep Space Black Site, which gives me additional the additional unity. I think I will do the living state. I would have done the flagella under other circumstances, but the living state is actually something that's kind of helpful for some of my buildings. So anyways, the Cochrane-Orcutt method. In statistics, hey, we finally went into the black on consumer goods. That's great news. Hopefully I'll be able to start building some labs to compensate. Zaxoid Stellar Confederation, the Giroid High Kingdom. They have declared them a rival. I think we're already on good terms with them. Yes, we will form a commercial pact with them. Ever feel like life is about the have-tos and never about the want-tos, Giroids? Here at the Black Codex, we live for doing the things you don't want to, so you don't have to. Enter a commercial pact with us and maximize the meaningfulness of your existence. Form a commercial pact with this empire. This will increase the value of both empires' trade networks. This will increase their trust by us by plus 0.25 each month up to a maximum of 75. It'll cost us 0.25 influence a month. We will get 642 and they will get 737 each month as long as the deal is active. So they technically get the better side out of it, but I would also want to guarantee independence so that maybe I could take the steps towards kind of bringing them into the fold, but even just being able to get them up to a defensive pact would be nice.
Construction complete.
Okay, so we want to basically colonize this world as quickly as possible. Do I have the resources? Yes, I do. And what's going on here? Vexus. Okay, so they finished their work. So I'm trying to find the best way to get all this done. Let's take Kuiper. And then I can build up those resources. We'll take the crystals, which have just become available, and I think I'm going to beeline towards some of these archaeological sites. Okay. Yes, this is a sound proposal. We agree to offer you a commercial pact. Oh, it's saying it the other way around. So apparently we get 731, they get 642. Either way, the trade's worthwhile. You're going to go make some swords on a blacksmith game. Have fun. Thank you so much for stopping by, Starbright Knight. Let me know if you're going to do that blacksmith game on stream, because that actually sounds kind of neat. I should see if I can change my diplomatic stance. Habitable World Survey. This is coming late. We now know without a doubt that a thriving biosphere is not something unique to Quantos. Both the scientific community and the public at large are eager to learn more about the various forms of alien life found throughout the galaxy. Efforts to catalog the life forms we encounter are already underway, but our xenobiologists have urged us to focus our planetary survey efforts on the habitable life-bearing worlds. So, here's the thing. The better choice might actually be to do, we have more important matters to focus on so that I can get the extra influence, which is a little short, right? Like, it's basically a little shy of 10% towards improvement. And it's not like I can't use the extra influence. We've got a lot of spaces to fill in. And we're also sort of at the edges of our exploration. So the likelihood of finding the number of habitable worlds in any reasonable period of time, I think is actually fairly low. But I do tend to pick up a commendable initiative just because in the end, like, what I'm really going to be getting off of the 20 influence isn't a huge amount, right? But yeah, this is a bit of a tricky one just in the context of where it comes up. So
Situation log updated.
Anyways, I was trying to explain what I was struggling with this weekend, but the game's been giving me some events to play around with. Basically, what this is intended to do, if you have a statistical model that you're looking at, and you're worried about something called serial correlation, which is basically the idea that there is going to be a relationship across time that you need to deal with. The Cochrane-Orcutt method is a way that you can address it. And this is basically a method that was introduced in the textbook that I was reading. It's not something that I just kind of pulled out of my head. But the textbook, at least to me, was not very clear in terms of how it implemented things. So I banged my head against it for a very long time. I think it basically took me about a day of just trying some different things. Because one of the ways I'm trying to learn is to teach the computer how to do these different methods. There's a great statistical program called Stata. It's a bit expensive. If you're a private user, you'll usually use it in the context of a university where either the university is paying for it or, sometimes your work might be paying for it in certain situations. And it's great. Like it takes all of the hard work and like just the computer does the computer stuff, and you've got a bunch of experts who have implemented this stuff for you. But I'm working on my own, so I really can't just buy something like that on my own. Well, I mean, I could, but like it would be hard to justify the cost. And one of the ways you've heard of it, but you never interacted with it. It's a really good program. I know people really like glomming on to open source programs and such, but the thing is that if I were to teach an econometrics course, I would use Stata for that, because the students would be focusing on econometric methods and not on programming their computers. Programming is a very valuable and important skill for people to learn. It's just important to remember that you don't go to an econometrics class to learn programming. You go there to learn how to do empirical work. And the ability to get people up and running with the tools is invaluable. And like I say this as someone who is a huge fan of Python. Like I'm running through, and this is the thing, right? I am learning these estimators better by having to actually go through and derive them. There are packages like stat models, linear models, a couple of the models in scikit-learn, although I noticed that some of the machine learning context, they're maybe not as interested in some of the adjustments that I might make in my own work. But even then, like being able to write my own version, having learned it in a textbook, get a set of results, then do the method that's been implemented in a reasonably well-regarded module and confirm that those answers are right, being able to say, I know this is right because I understand the underlying mathematics is really helpful. So clearly I didn't understand that Cochrane-Orcutt method particularly well. And I finally cracked it. and it kind of gave me a bit of a boost. So I was really, encouraged to do some extra problems in that textbook. I'm doing an undergraduate textbook because, like, it's, being able to get those early wins are nice. So then when I go to something a little bit more advanced, I can sort of say, all right, I know how to do this, and now I'm actually taking on a set of problems that are, they're meaty problems to, that I should be wrestling with. If I get too discouraged, I'm not going to learn anything. So, but yeah, anyways, I was trying to learn how to correct for AR1, an AR1 model, using feasible GLS, for those of you who read those kinds of textbooks. And I don't know, I was pretty happy finally being able to get it done. But I'm feeling a little tired just because I was up very late getting that done. We no longer see any reason to keep you locked out of our territory. Our borders are open to you again. I also didn't describe the problem as well as I was hoping to, but it was pretty clear that a bunch of stuff was happening in the game. You had your first proper statistics course in uni last month, and you just barely passed. Doing anything more advanced than the absolute basics is magic to you. So I have some sympathy for you here, Soggy Oily, because when I knew I was going to be working in the film industry when I first got out of high school. So I did not apply myself in mathematics at all, and for a very long time did not think of myself as a math person. And then when I got out of that career, I eventually went to university, and I originally wanted to do it for philosophy, but I did take an economics course and really loved the subject. And while there is theoretical work in economics, of a lot of the most interesting work that's happening in it right now is an applied work. It's taking data, working with data, and econometrics is not it's not just statistics applied to economic problems. There are contributions that I think econometrics have done to deal specifically with the kinds of problems that come in there. But the thing is that, so one of the fundamentals of statistics is probability. And probability is a remarkably tricky subject. It is true that there are textbooks on it. It is true that there are, if you want to learn stuff, you can go and check out some YouTube videos and such. It's also important to remember that some of the greatest scientific minds have worked in probability and gotten the wrong answers. I'm pretty sure that's true for Isaac Newton, at least. So, not that I want to make that is the only way in which I may compare to Isaac Newton, is that we've both made probability mistakes in our life. So it's a challenging one, and what is particularly difficult is that the people who are very good at these sorts of things, the people who will become professors, are not necessarily the best at they may not be the best at explaining things that are going on. So actually, I mean, if you've done a statistics course, I'll see if I can try and explain specifically the problem I was running into. Your class might have dealt with something called the Gauss-Markov Theorem. And basically it's a set of assumptions that you need to be able to sort of make certain claims about ordinary least squares. So the ordinary least squares estimates are blue, best linear unbiased estimator. And if you can meet those conditions, you're golden, but very often they are violated. And one of the tricks about serial correlation, I believe, I should probably double check this for myself, but I believe serial correlation is one of these situations in which your estimates may not necessarily be... Oh, hang on. Well, heteroscedasticity, that's definitely true. I actually can't remember if serial correlation messes just with your errors or your estimates. I'm pretty sure it's the... I actually did a problem... I didn't derive it. It was an applied problem, so I didn't actually derive it theoretically. Either way, it violates the assumptions. So you can no longer sort of say that, like, the stuff. Probably the most basic thing that you learned in that stats course. You have a test that you can do to see whether or not these errors are connected to each other over time. And if they are, it's very likely you're going to get a misleading result. Probably it's going to be that it's more significant than it actually should be. But if serial correlation introduces inconsistency, it might also be that your estimates are wrong. And I feel really bad about this because this is actually really basic, but I've also been reading a lot lately, and I'm starting to doubt myself, and I don't want to say something wrong. There's a YouTube video that I do that everybody just constantly craps on me over, where I was talking about something where I wasn't prepared. And I don't mind saying when I don't know something, because I can go and open my textbook and find the answer to it. But if I pretend that I know when I don't, I'm probably not going to go and try and open that textbook and learn later. But yeah, in any case, I was able to identify that this problem of serial correlation existed. That basically I guess you can sort of say that the observation in time period 1 talked to the observation in time period 2. And as a result, I needed to correct for that. And there is a fairly simple way to correct for it if you know what you're doing. And I realize if you know what you're doing is a big is a big question mark itself. But it turns out that I was really struggling with the implementation. The biggest thing, though, I think for a lot of the math stuff that became interesting to me, but it was still hard, was if you can understand, basically the reason why this stuff, even though it's hard, it's worth doing, is that it's about as clear and direct as you can get in terms of stating problems and how to solve them. And that's great, because I'm sure any of you who are on Twitter will know that we have a lot of opinions, but it would be wonderful if we could have some... How you doing, Mosquito Controller? It'd be wonderful if we could have some bedrock to work with. And of course, with statistics, foundation of mathematics, while it's difficult to learn this stuff, being able to learn it well will hopefully allow you to be able to answer the question, how do I know you didn't just make that up? But oftentimes we tend to learn these kinds of concepts as sort of, you need to memorize the following 10 facts, and if you don't have them memorized for the exam, you're going to fail. And as a result, it makes it very difficult to learn things. I don't think I made Soggy Oily any more convinced that statistics is worthwhile or anything other than magic. But it can be... the one thing I will say, you may find, depending on what you do afterwards, if you can find a project that's worth your time, I would say, you may actually go back to some of your notes for those classes, and you may approach them on your own terms and find that I've definitely had moments where I was like, oh, that's what they were trying to teach me. And it's because I've had to run into a problem like what I did before. It's like the one I was talking about before. And it's like, okay, so now that I'm able to describe this problem in my own terms, I have the following guiding lights to try and take me through to the end. Or, you just become some data scientist and you don't actually learn the math behind everything. You just throw a whole bunch of, programs that other people have written at it and just, go for the one that gives you the highest significance. Sorry, that's really mean to the ML people. There are a lot of very smart people who don't do that, but sometimes it would help if they could maybe have a little more background in terms of knowing what they're doing. All right, the dream of a utopian future drives our people ever forwards. A better tomorrow is worth fighting for. Stability is increased by 5 on all of our planets. Now, this actually will have some knock-on effects. So I'm sorry, the reason why I was, waiting to finish my ranting before I hit that button, I wanted to articulate why I specifically chose that one over my alternatives. So take a look here at some of the effects that stability will give you. And again, if you ever want to get into a game like this, I'm actually currently playing a game called Shadow Empire, which is... So I like complicated 4X style games, and Shadow Empire definitely falls under that. But the funny thing is once you get outside of Stellaris and Civilization territory, the thing is that there are a lot of very good games which do not give the same kind of care and attention to player onboarding and simplicity. They sort of assume a slightly more hardcore audience, and as a result, it can be a little bit more difficult to get into these things. So I've been struggling a little bit with Shadow Empire just because even basic things like how do I do all of the actions that I would want to do in this game have, like, they're non-trivial. So, and I mean, they usually come with big manuals, and it's just a question of me reading the manual. But again, like, if I could play a game or I could read a manual, I might want to play the game a little bit more now. So for games like this, if they're, games like Stellaris and games like Civilization, they'll sometimes have an encyclopedia inside them. In the case of Stellaris, there is a link directly to their wiki in the in-game browser. But also, if you mouse over, you'll get a tooltip. And in this case here, with stability, you get additional resources from jobs, worker jobs, higher trade value, and higher immigration pull. Now, an additional, like a flat boost to stability is not necessarily going to make any of my other planets more desirable than the other one, so we can ignore the immigration pull. However, higher trade value means more energy credits across my entire empire, and additional resources from jobs, again, is going to be an overall improvement. So if we compare what we could be getting, we could do a flat increase of 5% across all of our planets. We could do a sort of a faster transfer into demotions. Now, I'm trying to fill all of my jobs, so it's not like I'm really going to need that one right now. And then longer leader lifespan. Now, it would actually be kind of nice for me to be able to retain the skills of my most talented scientists for longer. But comparing that to the ability to acquire resources, I'm going to keep the utopian dream. The dream of utopian future drives our people ever forwards. A better tomorrow is worth fighting for. So even something like this, right? This kind of comes back to how I started to get a little bit better at some of the math stuff that I needed to do. Like taking the time to learn the definition of things and being able to understand the implications of an action that you're taking. I was able to sort of express in terms of a trade-off. Like, this one I don't get anything for right now. This one I will be able to get higher skill. So the real benefit here, right, when it's a leader lifespan increased, that's 20 years at their highest skill levels that you're getting them. So that's actually potentially very good. And given the age of some of my leaders, governors maybe not as much. I've actually already had a bunch of deaths, but like we've got an 80, 100-year-old, like, and my admiral's 85 as well. So really, this is the time when I would be maximizing the value of that particular boost. But I am a little bit resource constrained, and because my population is so small, I do actually want them to be. I do need each worker to be a little bit more. I don't know, a little bit better at what they're doing. So, but yeah, being able to, if you can. Explain your. So the most important thing for me is that if I can explain my decisions in trade-offs, even if I'm wrong on those trade-offs, I think it's really for me. It's really worthwhile because if I'm wrong, I'm at least going to be able to say, all right, I thought I was going to see massive improvements in terms of my ability to get things done, but it turns out the result was X, Y, or Z. And I'll feel like, just generally I'll feel a little bit better in terms of where the I'll feel a little bit better in terms of the next round, to be able to say, okay, so next time I do this, I will, I'll try to extend the life of my leaders, because that really hurt me to have a fall in my research or something like that. The Ematherian people should not be prisoners in the Black Codex, and neither should our own people be limited to inhabit our territory. Let us agree to remedy this. Now, I am a little bit worried that my people might migrate away, but I think I will agree to this. One, because if they are living on an Arctic world, it's very unlikely that they are going to... wind up... my people are very unlikely to wind up heading over there. And number two, the migration may actually wind up helping me in terms of being able to get them working on my worlds. Okay, we lost another scientist. So I do need to be a little bit mindful in terms of my my energy. I am eventually going to have to The brain slug, though. What did I even have you doing? Oh, you were a research assistant. I'm going to be a little quiet on the stream because I'm actually really bugged about the fact that I wasn't able to find out that thing about serial correlation, so I want to see if I can find that. I won't read the book to you. I am going to look it up while events are going through.
Construction complete.
Okay, so this one I'm kind of dreading. So one of the questions that I need to ask now is, do I want to try and rush to Borobo, or do I want to try and close some of the territory I have here? I guess I did say I was going to try and move out to Yinin, so let's follow through.
System survey complete. Incoming transmission.
Okay, we got a few things happening here. Also, yes, okay, so it does turn out that ordinary least squares remains unbiased. Yeah, so you can, for the stats nerds in the channel, the hunch was correct, but you only need, well, no perfect linearities just because the math doesn't work otherwise. You need linearity, you need no perfect linearity, and zero conditional mean for unbiasedness. But you will not be able to do proper hypothesis testing without the homoscedasticity or no serial correlation assumptions. Or at the very least, in their presence, you will need to correct for them. And now I can focus on the game. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, the Talakur Citizen Compact wants to try and get on better terms with me. Now, these, I think, were the only people who we outrank. Yes. And we're actually starting to open the gap between them. However, I think it's also fair to say that at this point I would like to try and get something of a coalition against the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation. So let's agree to the embassies. And what's going on with the other science ship? All right, well, they finished researching Thabit. So I think I'm going to send them... No, I'm going to put them on wormhole duty because those are going to become available before too long. All right. New jobs on Quantos. What do I want them to do, though? I mean, science wouldn't be terrible. I could also put the Psi Core down. I'm actually really struggling with this try. No! Yes. 10 unity is not nothing. Temple gets me 14 though. So it really is like, it really is all about crime. I feel like I can do better. Alright, I'll build another research lab. I am getting these research assistants, so it's not a complete waste of resources. I'm just hoping to do something a little bit more interesting. Okay.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
Not a moment too soon. A naturally occurring subspace wormhole is a fickle thing, and its fluctuating energy levels typically make it impossible to travel safely between its linked apertures. There are ways to temporarily stabilize its matrix, however. So, we have just opened up a lot of new possibilities for our science ships, as well as the possibilities for our expansion. Artisan's output is very tempting here. It's also my cheapest... Actually, yeah. Don't even need to think about it that hard. So what I'm going to do now is just take a look at all of the science ships. We've got helping research where they should. This will be doing archaeology. Oh, but they can explore the wormhole while... Wait, why are you... Okay, the other science ship, they are moving here. We'll get you to... Actually, before we do that, let's get them to explore Intham, then we'll get them to explore Mysa. The Bavaric... Or sorry, the Deveric. I believe I was getting them in position to check out like whatever's here at the end, but while we are waiting for that to be cleared out, let's get them on wormhole duty as well. Essentially what we're doing here is we're sort of testing the weaknesses of my defensive structures. The fewer defensive structures I need to put down for my like for the wormholes will basically mean more bases within my borders, which will protect my trade as well as sort of generate more resources. Scientist revealed as a psychic. While it is rare for psionic powers to manifest after adolescence, it is not unheard of. Scientist Buri Bakorab has recently been displaying abilities that were suspected to be psionic in nature. After undergoing a thorough ESP test, she has been identified as a Class 4 psionic talent. This happens a lot to my scientists.
Construction complete.
The wormhole in Jabbeth has been explored, and it connects to the Shulmak system. Alright, so Shulmak is close to a friendly species.
Evading heretics.
Alright, well, so much for that plan. That's actually good. That's kind of good to know, though. It means that it's unlikely that any unfriendlies will be paying us a visit through there. But that is going to be something that I need to defend over time. So there is an Ulm in the game, but I always wonder if Ulim was a Europa Universalis rep. Well, okay, Ulm is an actual place, but like if it was a reference to the Ulm memes in other games. I'm assuming not. Actually, let's see if Ulm is in. No. Is Sol? At least none that we've seen. Again, there's so much good stuff for me to pick up. It's just a question in terms of my influence and which ships I want to dedicate to which jobs.
We are spreading our faith to a new world.
Hello? Governing ethics shift in the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation. Following a long period of growing support for the Committee of the Sacrosanct Truth, the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation has finally embraced the faction, adopting their core values and policies. As a result of bringing this faction into their government, they have become more outwardly spiritualist. Well, hello there. We can be friends now. I guess I'll have to wait for a little while to end the hostility, but... Although it is very intriguing to see that our economies are now equal. Okay. Short list of targets has been drawn up. Those operatives who are no longer tasked with surveillance will provide cover for the others. We'll see whether or not this happens. Let us end this meaningless rivalry. We got to give it a few more days, but I'm okay with this. So they'll still have a claim on my system. The likelihood of a war breaking out has definitely... Okay, let's establish the embassy. We aim to establish an embassy on Za-Ox for the betterment of avowed Zaxoan diplomacy. Cool.
Heretic fleet engaged.
That's the lore reason, of course, is going to be the lore behind this, of course, is that the influence of the Black Codex is slowly converting the societies from within. Confidence wavers. A group of auxiliary operatives in the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation has begun shying away from their assigned tasks, citing a lack of confidence in their overall purpose. Spymaster Gan Aaron would typically handle such matters without bringing them to our attention, but even without them knowing any details, these operatives seem unusually well informed about Operation Acquire Asset, and perhaps the spy network as a whole. Given these auxiliaries were kept isolated from our more active and better informed agents, Gan Aaron suspects that the operatives are being fed information from an outside source. He also concludes that they may simply be highly perceptive individuals. Given these doubts and the threats posed to Operation Acquire Asset by each scenario, Spymaster Gan Aaron requests a directive of how to proceed. So we can cut them loose, or let's see where these insights lead. 33% chance of an unwavering insight and 66% chance of panicked operatives. So not looking great, but... Panicked operatives. Our auxiliary operatives in the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation have reacted with horror upon learning the truth of their once intangible suspicions. Spymaster Gan Aaron revealed only a glimpse of the bigger picture to them, but it was sufficient to disrupt our supply lines. Our ability to subvert Zaxxon encryption is reduced for a time. Pity. Presenter Ukma welcomes this initiative. All right, so as it turns out, our diplomatic channels are more effective at learning more about them anyway, but that's life. So I don't think we lost anything, but we're gonna probably have another... Okay, we're not actually fighting yet. Pretty sure we didn't lose any ships out of that. Do have a couple of wounded ones though, so we'll take a small break. Oh god, that's a long way to go. We must finish the mission first. But I should have a science ship which is on the way reasonably soon that can check these out. Sadly, you're going to have to head out and get some sleep. Good luck and have a good rest of your stream. Thanks, Olaf. I'm sorry it was a little more quiet, but I'm always happy to have you here. Your silent presence is a little bit of a little bit of a reassurance for me, I guess, for lack of a better description.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
All right. Happy to have the extra influence gain, although we may not be getting it right away. The Empire lives, the Empire breathes. We may make up its body, but it is not for the left hand to know what the right is doing. So what can we get from social again? So I suppose Amoeba Flagella might be where I go with this now. 29 for cytorevitalization centers. I believe this is an upgrade to my existing gene therapy clinics. Food processing centers, yeah, they're all tempting here, but in this case, Amoeba Flagella is the only one I can really take advantage of right now because I don't have the gas yet. So we'll pick that one up. I have to be up in 4 hours. Good lord, man. I mean, please don't ever put yourself in a bad... Like, so I know sometimes it's nice to just watch stuff, you know, even if it's late, like it's sometimes just nice to watch stuff. But please never feel, even if it's like my confidence on the line, please never push yourself past a point where you would want to go. Because I know all too well what it's like to, you know, to start, especially just like starting a day with less sleep than you really wanted. That's a really great way to like just take a day that would have been otherwise okay and just make it feel universally horrible. So yeah, please do take care of yourself. Asset acquired. Spymaster Gamba Aaron reports from the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation. A successful execution so far. We have secured an access to an official within the Zaxoan civic hierarchy. This asset will be kept secure but poised, ready to assist us with future operations, particularly when we might brush up against diplomatic or governmental issues. Cool. Our first successful operation. Holy crap, I am very glad to know that we're on better terms with these guys. That's a very strong feat. Okay. I think we're just going to let this grow. Might want to acquire more assets. I'm really liking, like, if I'm sort of getting the hints in terms of how this thing is going to develop, right, I actually really like how long-term a lot of these decisions are. Looks like we can still do better with relations. In this case, I do want to try and get some kind of a research agreement. Yeah, one of the good things here is that we have less to worry about Synthum, so Anthem will only ever have one industry.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
Star Fortress, these mighty space forts will provide a focal point for all military activity in a star system, and their presence is sure to deter all but the most stubborn attackers. Okay, so engineering. Engineering is going to be how I'm able to get my fairly crummy military into better shape. Deep core mining is a tricky one. because it's very cheap. 45 months versus 18 months. Yeah, I'll go deep core mining. I feel bad about doing it because I really do need better. I really do need better ships, but well, they're not making it easy, are they? Right. Sorry. I also had a well, this is wonderful news. Okay, so I don't need to worry about... I mean, the Anthem defense is fine. But I don't need to worry so much about... Okay.
Construction complete.
Get a black site. I don't think Mestros can get a black site because it's not over a colony. Yeah. Gribben. Same story. Again, I'm just kind of getting the extra unity where I can. And unfortunately, we've sort of capped out. So let's upgrade where we can. This might start to test my... resources. Oh, we'll be fine. But yeah, so one of the biggest things I was worried about here... Well, okay, actually, so the Anthem thing... I should probably... So the one thing that I'm... The wormhole that's close to my... that's close to my homeworld isn't as big as a threat as I thought, which is nice. I still have the base there, so I've kind of already dealt with the kind of the security concerns that would have emerged from it. It will be interesting to see where Misa goes, and I suppose the drawback here is that now I know this is probably going to be pointing somewhere that scares me. I don't know how... I mean, I guess however you cut it, though, I'm probably going to have to build these defensive structures no matter what, so I should probably just chill out. Okay, let's start... I really need to start getting these archaeological sites, I think. So we'll start with Jabbeth. Oh, the Senate has voted on and failed the Resolution Cooperative Research Channels. I was rather hoping that would happen. Let us oppose the formation of the Galactic Council right now because I would not be on it. Comfort the fallen. Unemployed workers have their unhappiness penalty reduced by 10, diplomatic weight from tech minus 20, spiritualist ethic attraction plus 10, and unity from working. Oh yeah, we want to support that. Tianki Conservation Act I'm okay with, and the Charter of Workers' Rights. So diplomatic weight from POPs plus 20, worker happiness up, worker political power plus 10. And the reason I'm neutral on this one is because I don't really think I'm probably going to have the lowest number for POPs. We've got 212, 297, 313. Okay, so I am going to oppose this one. Just from a political strength standpoint. All right, I wasn't actually planning for that to start, so let's just throw all of our ships in there. Fortunately, my ships seem to be evacuating. All right, lucky me. I don't think we lost anyone out of that. Ah, boy. So if I just transferred the damaged ships out. I mean, that's a much more fair fight than I want it to be. You know what? Let's just unify the... Well, first of all, let's get the... We'll get the fleets together. We're going to be able to at least get the science ships running around doing more interesting things. It's a crummy trade-off that I'm doing right now. I'm potentially losing ships just so that I don't have to make the trip all the way out here again. But again, we're sort of drowning in alloys, so I'm not that worried about it. It's been fun watching, but it's 3:30 and you should probably go to bed. Have to catch up with the rest on YouTube. No problem at all, Saguel. I appreciate you stopping by. Sorry I did a rather poor job of talking about stats to you, but... I appreciate you hanging out, and as the case with Olaf, I appreciate you folks just taking the time when you really probably should be taking care of yourselves. But as always, I like the comments on YouTube as much as I like seeing you all inside of chat. So I hope you have a lovely evening, or particularly a lovely sleep, and I'm sure we'll catch up sooner rather than later. See, this is where having something like the, the liquid metal would have been helpful, just to boost the health of my ships. Curator Research Aid. The research agreement we signed giving you access to our databanks has run its course. Would you like to extend it for another 10 standard years, or do your researchers no longer require the kind of information we offer? So we will extend the deal. However, I'm a little worried that our deal with the Kickstarter may not hold up. We'll see. I also just want to get a quick read on where I'm at. So I'm maybe a little less surprised that we're negative on consumer goods again, just because I did build that research facility on Quantos. What would be nice, of course, is to have more people kicking around on my other worlds able to build consumer goods. How you doing, Night Valian? We are actually, so the background story here with the Black Codex, the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation, who turns out to have an overwhelming navy, has actually shifted towards spiritualism. And so the backstory here, of course, is that our operatives are hard at work trying to convert our local rivals. So it's nice. Our intel's actually quite high on them too. It says like low for most, but we can make that number go up. I mean, we've got the egalitarianism that we need to worry about, but these things take time sometimes. So I'm going to wait for Nova, our amoeba companion, to show up, and then we'll start getting rid of the remaining shardlings, and that'll hopefully free up some... Actually, now that I think of it, I think I'm going to get this ship to just sort of beeline to the research.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
Deep core mining. These massive drills are needed to access the rich mineral deposits that can be found that can often be found close to a planet's core. Okay, so really, unless there's okay, I don't need to worry about those actually. So yes, I really need to start weighing on, if I can, weighing on some more military options, just because I'm getting a really clear idea of how weak I am relative to everyone else in the galaxy. Sorry, I shouted out Night Valiant, but I didn't say what he does. Night Valiant's been doing every Final Fantasy game, it feels like. I think you're still on number 9 last I saw you. I didn't say hi last time because it was very late for me, but I was watching you. But yeah, previously did Yakuza, has done Outer Wilds. We'll probably be doing the DLC whenever that appears. And generally streams a little bit later than me, so... you know, if you tend to find that you're checking out my channel and I'm wrapping up, Night Valiant's kind of my safe option in terms of hosts, because He's, got a soft voice, tends to stream relatively late, and so as a consequence is someone I sort of know is not going to be hopping offline the second that I send people along. I'm actually kind of curious what the DLC is going to be like. Okay, so it's not letting me say it's a deal because we are short 900 credits. I definitely have some stuff that I can sell for it, though. So, Steam Patriarch Calba School. A decade ago, the Black Codex pledged to support the Artisan Troupe, and so you have. The time of your patronage is coming to an end, but we would be remiss not to ask, would you care to renew your subscription to the finest arts and crafts in the galaxy? So this is just a kind of a liquidity problem more than anything. We generate 70 energy credits a month, and so it is well within our means to be able to support both deals. That's 6,000 every 10 years. So, I mean, effectively, like, it's a great deal for me, and it's really just a question of me making sure that I've got about 6,000 available within this 1 year period. So in this case, what I really just need to do here is find the best deal in terms of selling things off. So it looks like it's 0.7 for food. Is it really 0.7 for minerals? I am surprised about that, but that's the obvious choice. 283 for alloys, which normally I'd be okay with. I'm not quite at a point, like I do have a surplus for consumer goods, but I don't want to tempt fate on that. I think in this case, just because I have so many minerals, the best bet here is just to top myself off through that. I don't really, well, yeah, we'll take the full 3,000. Why not? It's a deal. I also don't remember if this is a galaxy-wide price or not. All right.
Construction complete.
Oh, this is the long way. I should have built through here up to Yunnan.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
All right, so we did lose a ship off of that. Great, so we get a 10% bonus towards artisan output. Basic administrative AIs can be used to streamline supply and demand lines, reducing waste. And I think as nice as... Oh man, there's actually a few good ones here. I think I will do the archaeology lab now that I think of it. Yeah, so ever since the Megacorp update, that's 2 corvettes. Oh, actually, probably lost a destroyer off of that too. All right, so we definitely lost some ships. What are we looking at here? Destroyer, corvette, raider. Oh, okay. It's raider class. Well, we don't want 3. We're not going to get that back, so... I just need to know how many those things take up. Okay, so 3 corvettes and a destroyer when all is said and done. And then I suppose I should be filling in the rest of the gap. Actually, yeah, this gives me a chance to sort of reorganize things a little bit. So, 24 for destroyers, 20... Well, no, sorry. We're actually 24 for corvettes right now. So 24 and 22. So we've got 46. 46 out of 60. So I suppose technically it would be better if I had 20, 20, 20 for everything. But it's a little late for me to handle that. Well, we could... I guess attrition is one way of fixing that. And I think it's 4 for a cruiser, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So 5 of those would be just what the doctor ordered. You know what? Should probably just put those at the top of the queue. So cruisers only for the time being. And we are going to go punch another batch. But yeah, so the big changes that the Megacorp sort of expansion or update brought in was it used to be energy credits, minerals, food, and then like minerals would basically build you everything. So the problem with that was it was pretty clear the dominant strategy was to basically make as many minerals as you possibly could, so that you could have these overwhelming fleets. Now you have this really interesting trade-off in the sense
The
that
faithful have claimed a new world.
if you if you just focus on minerals, you'll be able to build infrastructure, but you're not going to be able to build industry. And the reason why you won't be able to build anything else with that industry. Like you still need to be able to get ships, and the way you get ships is through things like alloys. The reason why alloys are not the new minerals is because in order to get... So what do you really want in your navy? It's not just that you want a large number of ships. You want this frightening number of... how do I put it? Like you want not just a frightening number of ships, but you want them with the greatest armaments. And so certain jobs are maintained through consumer goods and so my researchers, for instance. And that was the thing I was really struggling with for a while. We're actually at a surplus of 16 now, so I'm wondering, yeah, Inthem's still kind of the backbone of the industry. I wish I had an easy way of sort of weaning us off of this dependency. Holy crap, it actually is producing a deficit of consumer goods. Okay, newly founded colonies. So we've got some basic buildings we want here. First of all would be a gene clinic to support the population growth. Let's get another city district down. I guess I was gonna focus this on... So, like, minerals would be nice because I can get it from these, but I don't need minerals, so let's get them building industrial districts. I might get them, like, maybe supplying their own, so what, they'd need 1250, yeah. It's like maybe it'll sort of be self-reinforcing. I don't know. Yeah, we lost another Corvette. Yeah, these guys are ready to go home and heal up. I'm probably going to have to redesign a couple of my fleets, but I'll be honest with you, I still haven't worked out a really, like, an ideal structure for my fleets. I just kind of divide the number of ship types that I have by the number of spots available. Castra's not in a position to add a bureaucratic sector, right? No, so I'll build another one of these so I can build another administrative office. All right, so Inthem goes to... Wait, we knew this already. All right. I think what I'm going to do in moving forward is I'm going to make sure that I've got 6,000 in the bank, and then all subsequent decisions are going to be made on the basis of, like, do I have 6,000 plus? So, for instance, it would be nice to be able to convert a few of these worlds. It'd be nice to be able to convert a few of these worlds into other planet types. And that's going to cost, I think, about 2,000. So let's take a look at a good candidate, something big. Terraforming would be 5,000. So essentially, I'd want to make sure that my energy reserves were 11,000 before I did terraforming. But yeah, actually, if you want to... Sorry, I was responding
The
to something
spirits
that
have
Valian had
granted us
said
new
earlier.
wisdom.
I think if you want to see a game that does a really interesting job with its trading mechanics, Off-World Trading Company is an economic RTS, and like you can't be a business that specializes in everything. And so what's interesting is that some of the decisions you make may potentially be giving your competitors the raw resources that they need to do their own plans. But again, you want to make a profit. It might just be that you're more confident in your ability to sort of get this stuff done. I've actually not followed the game as well as I want to, because I know there's like Jupiter's Forge, for instance, is it Jupiter's Forge? Whichever the latest DLC was. There's some really neat ideas inside of it, but I'm still kind of getting used to the basics again. But that's what, if you like interesting trading mechanics in a game, I think Off-World Trading Company is a good example. By breeding space amoebas in captivity, we can program their symbiotic flagella to act as an organic strike craft for our navy. Okay, the tile blockers might be tempting in this case. I shouldn't forget fortresses. They actually will have some uses, but and then I suppose the command limit wouldn't be terrible, because that gives me more options fleet-wise. I don't know. Let's get the deep crust engineering out of the way. I don't know why I didn't do the food processing facilities already. That's an oversight. And I mean, now that I'm generating a surplus in terms of consumer goods, I am going to jump ahead. Actually, there's two things I'm going to do. So one, I want to build the... I do want to build the research. No, I can't build the research because I don't have... right. Okay, well, I'll at least get the crystal mines down, because there are still natural resources to exploit. Oh boy. Do we have any geniuses left over? Not really. This composition makes me kind of sad. This one I can get for cheap, but this one's a genius. What was I using you for? Alright, so they just finished that wormhole, which is fine. So I can get you to explore that natural wormhole. Right, and we're still waiting on the... Okay. All is where it should be in the world. So Misa leads to the Talakur Citizen Compact. So I suppose that... So we're on reasonably good terms with these people, and I think they're the ones who are making the friendly overtures. So technically I wouldn't normally need... Like, in one sense I don't need to worry about defense. In the other sense, it's an external entry point, so yes, I should put a defensive structure down there. Despite recent skill improvements owing to accumulated experience, Governor Dim Bakorab seems to be approaching the limits of their abilities. They have gained Arrested Development. Nuts. Okay, comfort the fallen, lower diplomatic weight from tech, higher spiritualist. I mean, actually, I guess the one trick here is my tech is probably... it's okay, it's not great. So I've cleared the dense jungle here just because it says it's keeping me from the moat harvesting traps. Okay, you're ready for an upgrade. We're not quite ready. I am not unpaused. Not quite ready for the 5th cruiser, but I want to build it.
Debris analyzed.
Okay, crystal infused plating and regenerative hull tissue. Not the most exciting in the world, but... So I just added exploring the system on top of the other jobs.
Construction complete.
So I'm going to build the upgrades as I move along. It's going to be sort of a slower, slower progress as I move into Yinin, but I'm not too sad about that development either. One of the bigger questions I'm trying to work on right now is when is the best time for me to properly convert Intham to a Forge world? Because again, if I do that, I basically I turn that positive into a negative on my current production. The thing is that I think Intham is always going to be growing faster, and so it may be that we never quite get to that
Debris analyzed.
that escape. We'll see though. Should just be more society engineering, crystal infused plate. Yeah, all stuff that I want, but I've just had better options at the time. And we should be okay for... I'll leave it be, but I think we should, well... just in case. We'll research all the debris. Another priority I should be working on in terms of expansion, I think this is going to be going to the Jabba system. So in addition to these archaeological sites, I might actually want to extend out to these colonizable worlds. And again, this is just so I can get the early population growing on them. That will start to stretch my consumer goods again, but I still think it's the right call. Governing ethics shift in the Talakur Citizen Compact. Following a long period of growing support for the Xeno Liberty Alliance, the Talakur Citizen Compact have finally embraced the faction, adopting their core values and policies. The result of bringing this faction into their government, they have become more outwardly xenophilic. They like me.
Debris analyzed.
I'm trying to remember how far the sector... I think it'll tell me if I click on it. So if I make this the sector capital... So this will create a new sector with this planet as its sector capital. All systems within 4 jumps not previously part of any sector will become a part of this new sector. So let's just game this out a little bit. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's within, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it seems pretty clear to me that Theia is the obvious choice for the capital. 1, 2, 4. Yeah, there's no way that that's gonna fall in. In fact, I believe I can just... Oh no, because we're still colonizing it. Okay, space torpedoes. These torpedoes are essentially very large, slow-moving missiles. They are equipped with more powerful warheads and shield modulators that let them slip unmolested through energy screens. So... Crystal infused plating's not going to take me that long. As much as I'd like better Corvette as much as I'd like better hull points, let's start getting some of my special upgrades out of the way. Yeah, I could upgrade the bureaucratic... Ideally, what would happen is I would dismantle this and stick it on Castra, but... This barren and lifeless world is showing signs of once having supported a biosphere. We pretty much reflexively research those. I should be taking a look. Complete. So right now I'm getting +3 for rare crystals.
Construction complete. Our ships have been improved.
It's the capital. I might as well give it the black site.
Our ships have been improved.
No, that was the defensive structures.
Our ships have been improved.
So taking a look at the starbase capacity, we're going to put 1 here for sure. We'll put 1 in Yinin for now, so that's 2 accounted for.
Our ships have been improved.
A 3rd in the Jabba system, so that's 3. So I have 3 unaccounted for, which I should probably be messing with. Our ships have been
improved.
That's not going to get annoying. Probably 2 after I count for Riser. I don't see any situation in which Riser connects to anything within our borders. So I kind of have 2 free... It seems to me like I've got 2 free... star bases that I can build somewhere, and then the question becomes where is it most profitable for me to put those down. I think probably what I'll do, because I'm a little shy on alloys right now, what I might try is just to build the bases that I know I need to build, and then we'll get an idea in terms of where the gaps in terms of the trade network are, and we can consider maybe we can consider the improvements then. Our detailed survey of Sidenope 3 has revealed that it may once have supported life in the distant past. There are significant deposits of frozen water at the polar ice caps beneath the planet's surface. The existence of valley networks suggests that the water may have once flowed freely. Terraforming this planet would be theoretically possible, but we do not yet possess the technology to accomplish this monumental task within a realistic time frame.
Our ships have been improved.
Only 2 more. Well, and then I just build new ones.
Our ships have been improved.
Not quite ready to build the new ones yet. This is reasonably good news for me, though, because I don't know if we have enough military intel yet.
Our ships have been improved.
But I do want to make sure that I've got reasonably robust defenses against, in case things kind of go boombastic with the Zaxoids.
Complete.
It'd be nice to it'd be nice to have a contingency. So. What are we looking at here? Here follows the latest newsletter for all our patrons. The Enclave is in a frisky mood. The creation of the Centillus Rift has caused many an artist to change their primary focus to creating new experiences for it. So far, the most noteworthy to come out of this endeavor is an orchestral piece conveyed via scent. Our work continues, and any donations would be gladly accepted. So we are below my threshold of kind of doing these kinds of activities. But again, this is a really easy way to convert energy credits into influence, and I need the influence for my expansion, so we will donate. My Empire Sprawl is becoming a bit of a concern, so we're looking at another 25% for technology, tradition adoption. But again, I don't see too much in the way of options here. Like, I really do think that I need to be, I really do need to, I think I, at the very least, need to be getting to my, the border that I said I was going to. I need to claim the planets that I want to use as sort of my launch pad into bigger industry. And then I need to, that's the sprawl. So Australia's Hive and like repeal pan-galactic recycling initiatives. What does that give us again? This is one improvement I could see Stellaris making, which is if you're going to repeal, it would be nice if you could see exactly what you were giving up. So the way you'd find that right now is you'd go to resolutions, you'd say, okay, well, where's the recycling initiative? So it lowers your economic weight, it changes the consumer goods upkeep, and it increases the clearable. Actually, maybe we do want to reveal that. What's my economic power compared to everybody else? So 206, 184, 241, well, 302 in reality. Yeah, it's not going to make a difference for my, excuse me. Sorry about that. As a preemptive, excuse me. It's not going to make a difference in terms of my placement in the council. Okay. Seems to me here that the leader lifespan is what I want out of this one. Again, converting the unemployed is not going to be a problem for a very long time for me. This construction ship is idle, and that makes me sad. Okay, so you excavate, you build a research station, and do we have the money to turn you into a proper starport? We do. Yeah, so I think my new priority is going to be... So I still want to expand out to worlds that have archaeological sites on them, but I think I'm going to prioritize habitable worlds with systems with rare resources in them. So archaeology, habitation, and rare or strategic resources are going to be sort of the new priorities.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
Shipboard lab with advanced archaeological equipment, including a vast database supplied by the Curator Order where new discoveries can be easily cross-referenced. Right, research alternatives is really tempting, but I think kind of automatically I tend to go for the fusion reactors. Have granted us new wisdom. And advances in material technology and deep shaft mining techniques allow geoengineering to previously unthinkable depths and temperatures. Magma hotspots can now be exploited, suppressed, or even relocated. So, I don't think I'm quite ready for regenerative hull tissue, but you never know. Diplomatic weight would be wonderful, as would Hollow Temple. Oh god, there's so much that I want here. But let's go for the tile blockers again, because we're actually going to be getting to a point where we're expanding fast enough that I'm going to want that. Complete. Okay, this construction ship is not doing things that I want. Oh no, it was just reporting the same. Okay, what's happening with Intham? Complete. Okay, Intham is upgraded, but really only has one purpose right now. So I should probably be thinking what I want to accomplish with this site. This
Construction complete.
It's the
faithful have claimed a new world.
It's actually, I think this story is true for a lot of my star bases. So I need to start thinking a little bit about what I want to be accomplishing with some of them. There's not a whole lot of trade in these regions, so it doesn't make as much sense to be building things like off-world trading companies. But once I've got my black sites down, you know, I could be boosting my overall naval capacity. I could be, you know, building anchorages and be able to support a second fleet. I could, oh yeah, I should also be thinking about where piracy is going to be a problem. All right, well, actually, I don't feel so bad about ignoring that now. And I believe I was going to make this the capital of a new sector, so let's just build that right now. Is this the wrong button? There we go. And ideally, they're going to be focused on... I can live with a longer lifespan, sure. I was thinking something focused on development, but we will give them a... As much as I would love to start them with a temple, let's start them off with a gene clinic. Alright, now if memory serves, we don't have any more colonizable worlds within our borders. So we will be slouching on to Knights. Eventually, Aranus will be terraformed. We'll probably... I suspect Borbo will be the one that we expand out to first. Aranus has been terraformed into a continental world. Well, that's what I get for not paying attention. So this is an immediate colonization for sure. Crashed Starship. A log of sorts was recovered from what is believed to have served as the spacecraft's bridge. Captain's Chronicle. Begin recording. Made forced landing on the planet 5523X. Incompetent crew to blame. Shadbra, Vauxhall, and Dibrak III did not survive. Pivrax lost 2 secondary appendages and 11 of his eyes. Remains in critical condition. Survival doubtful. Rest are fine. Awaiting rescue, but surrounded by idiots. Very depressed. So, for those wondering what this was, because this is a couple of episodes ago, a small canyon of sorts has been carved into the surface of this planet by a violent impact of a starship. What remains of the vessel can still be found on the canyon floor. Although the crash must have occurred eons ago, the wreckage appears to be reasonably intact. An archaeological expedition would be able to learn more. Okay, let's see what happened here. It's fine. And we move on to Borbo. Again, we're going to explode the... administrative capacity, but that's like I've accepted that this is going to happen. 2, 3, 4. One other thing I might want to be considering as well would be, like, in terms of future expansion, thinking about different. You know what? I should probably move the capital.
Construction complete.
This one seems to make a lot more sense as a capital. So Aranus will fall within the Quantos sector. The Wentwork sector will now cover Evixus, Epsilon Indi, and Kalajom. The Te Prime sector will include Ugrasti as well as Borbo. And the only one that's really... there's going to be 2 outliers, sort of 2 in the frontier sectors. So this tropical world... Elbria, and then Jabba. Actually, no, not even Jabba. Because hang on, Jabba isn't even a colonized world. Knights. Those might eventually change depending on how the wormholes work. But
construction complete.
Found a species on the slave market. One of the pops of our. How? So first of all, this is clearly not true. Cool. We actually have a geroid slave. Okay, actually no. So I guess what's happened here... What world is this? So it looks like one of the geroids decided that they wanted to come over, and the only work that they could find was slavery. All right, well, I won't complain about it. But yeah, I definitely want to buy more slaves if I can. It's apparently a seller's market right now. Oh, I can combine my fleets. No, I can't, because it'll stick it over the command limit. Okay, let's kick out some... Okay, so the raiders are gone. Let's start with that. I wish it would tell me how much it's over by, or I could just, you know, do the math. I'm over by 1, so... And they are all experienced corvettes. So I feel like I'm overweight destroyers. Yeah, actually the ideal... let's get this done properly. How does that work? Oh, no, that makes sense. 2 for the destroyers, and then we've got 3. Okay, so in theory here, I'd be able to support a 5th cruiser, which was the intention all along. I mean, in theory, what I could do with these guys is just send them on patrol. So let's actually get a quick look at my trade network. Yeah, this is horrifying. This is all... It's all piracy. I mean, one thing I guess I could do is I could split them in half. Oop, so much to do. Okay, this one's done. We'll build and Thabit. Then we'll take Knights. And Riser takes us to the Caravanserai Caravan Coalition. Interesting. All right. I'm not going to lie, this is not the smartest choice I've ever made, but let's travel to the unknown, shall we? Okay, so that's completely owned. This is actually really good information, because had we gone to war, the enemy could have come pouring through this wormhole, and we would have been powerless to stop them. Cool. We are going to have to put a big, scary defensive structure there. Should probably clear these out for before too long as well. Okay, well, you know what? This one, it can do what it wants for automatic surveying. It looks like they're probably going to be running around in enemy territory for a bit. I'm sure that's going to create problems, but I'll live with it for now. How's life on the colonies going? Lots of potential jobs. I'm not going to be helpful by just loading them up with more work.
The
Archaeology.
spirits have granted us new wisdom.
Another log has been found and translated. First mate Yahar speaking. Captain has been safely stowed in utility closet C. That bumbling fool is to blame for everything. I am in command now. Chief Engineer Zarbla is working on a subspace transmitter. Without one, I fear we'll never get rescued as we're too far off the corporate trade routes. Pirvax lost another eye. Likely won't last the day. I have not seen this one before. This is a neat little story event. Okay, crystal infused plating. I'm going to assume there's going to be a bunch of upgrades for that. By infusing armor plating with crystalline matter, we are able to further increase the durability of our ship's protective hulls. Presumably, yeah, it costs. Presumably, it costs crystals. Okay. At this point, prioritizing military applications is pretty much a must. So that's going to mean a somewhat large bill when I don't think that's right.
Our ships have been improved. Debris analyzed.
We're almost done the research here. So the good news here
Our
is this is going to
ships
be
have been improved.
giving us a better idea of what we're missing out on if we stop our expansion at the Yinan system. Looks like continental world, so this is already something I can colonize, but it's only size 10. I really don't think they need to inform me every time a defensive structure has been upgraded. Like, the batch is sufficient.
Our ships have been improved.
Now, I may want to consider adding another generator district here. Master's teaching, philosophical mindset is done. As much as I would like to add this one again,
our ships have been improved.
well, it's only 70. Yeah, let's go for it.
Our ships have been improved.
Doesn't get annoying at all. I don't care what you say. Okay, I really do want to be focusing on sort of capital-focused upgrades I can do, but let's build another...
Our ships have been improved.
Let's build another generator here as a start. I can start clearing out some more of the blockers, but I really want to get my energy credits up to a level that I'm comfortable with.
Our ships have been improved.
Now here, I think we can work on... I think we need to work on more administrative offices. Basically, we've got our gene clinics, we've got our temple. Those I want to have on every world. So once I have my gene clinics and my temples down, each world should have a pretty clear specialization. Usually that will be obvious from, you know, from how it's set up. This one will eventually become a forge world, but again, I don't want to fully bankrupt the Empire quite yet. That's more of a later game sort of a mission. Oh god, I picked the wrong one, didn't I? Nope. Okay, so looks like all my science ships are doing what I want them to do. I think pretty much at this point, reflexively, I'm just going to start colonizing these. So this is potentially another Forge world, or possibly alloy focused. Sorry, or possibly consumer goods focused. I'm not too sure yet. Jabba eventually should be getting some upgrades as it is a defensive structure, but I think I have other uses for the alloys right now. Maybe not. I don't normally build nebula refineries given that we already have lots of minerals, but why not? Is there any trade in the region? There is, so we will give you a trade hub. And then we'll upgrade you.
Our ships have been improved.
And you're not supposed to get a cruiser.
Incoming transmission.
Nonsense, it can't fit. Oh. Alright, the Gearoids finally want the research agreement. I think I can work with this. So we have much to learn from one another in Etherian. We propose the creation of a research agreement between our empires. Form a research agreement with this empire. Both empires will gain a bonus when researching technologies by the other empire. We can learn 15 physics, 15 social, 11 engineering, and share 7, 9... Yeah, this is definitely good for me. In fact, let's see if we can pursue more of them. That is going to have an impact on my influence, but I was hoping we might be able to get a defensive pact. So the distance is the real problem there. Okay. I guess I don't need to be as nice to them. So there's still mistrust between us. This is a little surprising. Why is that? So, border friction, fair enough. Their claims are hurting it. They don't like our slavery, and they don't like our authoritarianism. Huh. Could try to steal technology. So I'm trying to think. I'm trying to figure out exactly how we can raise this cap in terms of intel. I think we'll just let. I think I'm just going to let them. So I really have the thing that I need, the ability to steal technology, and I've got an asset geared towards it. I think I'm going to keep. I think I'm just going to keep building this up for now. But I think we're going to start doing more acquire assets and steal technology over time, so we can start trying to close the gap. And I mean, by comparison, because their encryption for yeah, I mean, it's just everybody else is so easy to hack, so
We are spreading our faith to a new world.
Yet another translated log. Running out of food. Ate our dead 5 cycles ago, but not enough to last us. We had a vote and decided to eat the captain. Engineer Azarbla is still working hard on a subspace transmitter. She assures me that it is nearly complete. It looked very complex. Pirmax's last secondary appendage has shriveled up and turned magenta. Death is near. All right. While we're working on that, I do want to take a quick look. There's been a couple of things that I've been ignoring. So technology-wise, I always want to keep an eye on the amoeboid pacification tech. Right now, I've just been focused. The problem that I have with those events is that there's always something really good in physics that keeps me from doing that. So like being able to get a better generator in my ships is a pretty big deal for me. Another thing that I tend to forget is my... It's not under tech. Oh, God. I should review my policies. Relics, right. I don't need the energy. Unity is not terrible. I don't need to celebrate diversity. I don't really want xenophiles. And then we can put the... Right, culture workers. Okay, well, let's start with a religious revelation. I believe... Yeah, that's going to take about 10 years, so I should probably do those a little bit more often. Right, and then the culture workers thing. Okay, so... I'm definitely not at a spot where I can distribute luxury goods. Museums... Right. Not nearly enough culture buildings. But not as important anymore. So the question here is, do I really want to keep hammering on the agriculture districts, or do I want to allow for the possibility that I might want to do something else with this planet? We'll give them one more city district as a precaution.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
Tactical disruption of natural habitats combined with
System
converging search and
survey
destroy
complete.
patterns can effectively eliminate hostile wildlife in a very short span of time. Okay, global production strategy. Ministry of Production is a really big deal for me. This is the percent-based bonus for so many of these worlds. I did not know it had a moat requirement, though. So this is a very high priority for me right here, even though it'll take a while. So 41 months compared to... Oh, we are so close to regenerative hull tissue, but it won't matter because I will have global... This is going to go back into the deck if I don't research it. So yes, global production strategy, and I've got a specialization for it. So that was the right call to make. I wonder where they're going next. Okay, so they're not going to close this gap here. I guess somebody else is going to have to work on that. And this construction ship is idle. Please tell me I have a colony ship already on its way here. Hopefully. And the Comfort the Fallen resolution passed. Looks like the vote for the Galactic Council is coming up next, and I suspect we are not going to... I don't think we're going to win this one. I think most people are going to want the Galactic Council, and I won't be on it, which is a shame, but not much I can do about it, so... Another quality of life improvement I'd kind of like to see would be... So right now I do one action to build... build my base, and then I say build mining stations, and it won't let me because it's not within the sector. It'd be nice if you already had build a star base that you could queue up the improvements, kind of on the assumption that you did the action that you said you were going to do. I completely understand that creates a whole bunch of problems for the people who are responsible for making sure that the game works. So I think there's good reasons why that isn't inside of the game. But obviously for me, that would be a helpful improvement. Here I'll just add more industrial capacity. We already dealt with that one. Aranis is being colonized. Lemsa is my industrial world, but it's already got 5 jobs available. Hang on. We also have dust deserts and isolated valleys. So 2 moat harvesting traps and an alien zoo. Okay. No, let's not get ahead of ourselves. 2 city districts. Another log from First Mate Yathar. Confronted Zarbla about the subspace transmitter.
System
Turns out she had just
survey
shoved a bunch of
complete.
junk and loose cables into an empty fuel canister. She's not even a real engineer. Pyrvek's now leaking fluids from his mesothorax. Will surely perish soon. Envious. I keep forgetting on some of these worlds, I have not yet upgraded them from colonies. So here follows the latest newsletter to our patrons. We have abandoned the attempts to create sense-centered media. It was a foolish idea and has brought nothing but wasted time and unpleasant odors. In order to find our way back again, we will need a donation from our trusted patrons. We thank you for your continued support. Again, 10 energy credits per influence. It would be nice if I was back at my, my 6K sort of limit for myself. We actually are making less energy or fewer energy credits than I was when I started this little journey. Although of course it's going towards some decent maintenance, so I'm not too worried about that. But in this case, I think it's a pretty good deal, and we are short on influence. But yeah, I keep forgetting on some of these worlds, not this one, but Lemsa, for instance. I'm still waiting on our pop. We're close, but all right. The ability to sustain a fusion reaction is at relatively low temperatures will result in a new generation of fusion drivers for our ships. So lots of cool options here. Bonus to survey speed. Now, this is a tough one for me because it's a little late to be going for this. Yeah, let's do it though. I am, however, going to do the amoeba pure pacification.
Our ships have been improved.
Actually, given
Our
the
ships
shortages
have
on
been
alloys,
improved.
I might be tempted to... I was a little tempted to try and switch them over to...
Construction complete.
I was a little tempted to try and switch them over to Forge, but there's no reason to... I don't think there's any reason to start imposing those kinds of deficits yet. Especially not when I'm going to be building colony ships. Okay, let's get these folks pirate hunting. The governor has gained traits. They are now an environmental engineer, which would be good for clearing blockers, but I'm probably not going to be doing that until I've got 6,000 energy credits in the bank. So this one's appealing because of its rare crystals, otherwise I would have moved over to Hydrobius. But my science ship's going to be able to do archaeology here if I'm late. Alright, they're done their research station. Hopefully the ships... I gotta keep track of where my colony ships are going. But we finally get our prize, the Yinan system. Then I have some tough decisions in terms of where do I want all my expansion to go next. Jabba is still in upgrade mode, so I'll leave that be. Okay, so this colony ship is on its way to Borbo. Good. Knights does not seem to have a colony ship heading towards it. Let's make sure I've got that right. Bunch of upgrades,
System
but
survey complete.
looks like we are free to go. Okay, I believe that takes care... No, not
Anomaly
exactly.
found.
I am actually going to want to claim this pretty soon. Sensors report a shipwreck of unidentified origin that has been sighted in orbit around React 3. Should also take a quick look at the victory log. So 500 away from the Geroid, almost 1,000 away from our closest rival. And then the hive mind is just running away with it. Alright, Railgun. Oop. Oh. Non-aggression pact with the Talakor. I should see if I can get one of those. The latest in electromagnetic accelerators, railguns use twin parallel rails to fire projectiles at incredible speeds. So I don't think we're still at the point where we can do living metal. An advanced railgun, 57 months. Corvette would be 43 and probably a little more sensible. And then purification hubs. We don't even have a refinery yet. So yeah, we'll go for the Corvette. Hull points. Perhaps unsurprisingly, we've got a whole bunch of upgrades in the way. This translated log appears to have been recorded by Uxla, the third mate. First mate Uthar committed suicide by ripping off his own antennas yesterday. Technician, second class, Massivia declared herself empress shortly afterwards, but food riots forced her into exile on the lower decks. Situation very bleak, cannibalism widespread. Pirvax is suddenly it's turned entirely magenta after his lower abdomen exploded yesterday. Should be dead, but is not.
Complete.
Now worshipped as deity by Gamma Shift. I really want to see where this is going. Okay, looks like there was a... Alright, so the Zaxoids are mad at me again. Our crew above the ISS Deveric report that the React 3 shipwreck appears to be the result of an unexpected geomagnetic solar storm. The supply ship suffered a complete loss of life support systems and sustained inoperable damage. Drifting until it entered React 3's gravity well, there are no survivors. The ship's cargo hold does indeed contain a notable amount of minerals, however. The captain of the ISS Deveric cautions that the construction indicates Vetresian design. It's highly likely that the minerals belong to the Vetresis hive, and they may be displeased should we lay claim to their shipment. So it is cool that we would get 10 intel on them. However, I think especially because we chose to have a border with them, I think it's better that we keep on good terms. So we will not risk an altercation. And while I'm at it, the Jessenac civilization encountered. We have detected the presence of a pre-space alien civilization on Sastrum 2 in the Sastrum system. Atmospheric contaminants and light pollution visible from orbit are consistent with a densely populated machine-age society. They appear to have mastered air travel, and factories are mass-producing goods in their cities. We should consider building an observation post above their world and study them more closely. So, looks like this is a world that... it's an alpine world, so... Now, this might be a source for slaves. I mean, 24 is not bad. It would, of course, mean... Oh, actually, this is an interesting question. Yeah, I think I would need to expand my borders out. Oh, well, this isn't even remotely close to my territory anyway, so... this is what I will admit it was not my favorite moment of last week's stream, but this is the point that somebody else was making in not very subtle ways on last week's stream. But if you have primitive civilizations, there is a penalty. So basically, if you do sort of a nightmare scenario, sort of like a War of the Worlds situation where you kind of come in and invade this vastly technologically inferior species, you can enslave them. And it's one of these nice things where there are some like bleeding heart species, but generally there's not a whole lot of consequence for doing that. But the drawback is because it is just such a shock, and because your technology is so far beyond what they can comprehend, there's actually a really big penalty for those kinds of workers for a period of time. So it's not exactly free workers, but it's still a pretty decent way to get get some bonuses. We've allowed you to move about freely in our territory for too long. Today we draw the line. All right, so I wonder why they don't like me now. I guess it's just, this is the natural... I guess it's just because this is the natural kind of equilibrium. I suppose if I want, I can keep trying to improve my... Well, I don't know. I think I'll just keep improving the spy network. I might even want to just prepare sleeper cells or something, but probably acquiring an asset first and then moving on from that. It would be nice to use the envoys for other things, but for now... Oh, that's right. I wanted to see if I could somehow get non-aggression.
Our ships have been improved.
Oh, the Vitresis Hive. Emutherians, we have received word of our downed supply ship's cargo. We would like to extend our gratitude to you for taking the time to recover it without the need for Vitrician intervention. Okay, cool. 100 influence is really nice. Get a favor, and they like us plus 20. We should make the most of that where we can. So non-aggression is not going to be happening. Why don't they like that? Since we do not have enough intel, we can only speculate as to the reasons for holding this opinion of us. Cool. Okay, so the Zaxoids, basically at this point, I have every reason in the world to put as many resources as I can into improving that intelligence. That could be the thing that keeps me from getting overrun in the end. And we will turn this into a... Oh, no, I don't have the... I'm not even remotely close to having the alloys for that. But we will turn that into a defensive structure when we can. Okay, what else do I want to do?
System survey complete. Our ships have been improved. Our ships have been improved.
These are the defensive systems, or defense platforms that
Our ships have been improved.
They're going to be saying that for a while.
Our ships have been improved. Our ships
okay,
have
as
been
an experiment,
improved.
I'm going to try turning this into a Forge world for a little while.
Our ships have been improved. Our ships have been improved. Our ships have been improved.
So one of the things, this is definitely going to go down by a large amount, but I also want to see if the AI tries to reassign workers on Lemsa to compensate.
System survey complete.
Are we really? I don't believe that we're still plus 10 on that. I'm thinking the conversion to a Forge world didn't actually happen. Okay, what's happening here? The ISS Tatako construction ship. Why? Because you don't have the alloys to expand here. Curious. All right, I don't know if that's a bug or not. Holy crap. Yeah, we got a little bit of a consumer goods deficit. Wow. Wow. Let's see how long I can hold it this way. Oh god, do I have to go through this again? I'm not doing it. Okay, form the Galactic Council. I mean, it's pretty clear the writing's on the wall. Oh god. Yeah, it's just not happening. So I'll have to be a minor player in Galactic Affairs for a little while, but I will watch and wait. Huh. They're back to being overwhelming again. Drat. Oh wait, maybe they were all... sorry, I'm thinking of the Zaxoid probably. Nope, their fleet power is back to overwhelming too. Huh, okay, so I seem to have lost ground. Drat. Okay, now I've got an envoy who I'm trying to build good relations. Okay, so even though I have an envoy pushing... Okay, so I've had an envoy trying to push for better relations, or sorry, for a defensive pact with these guys for a while, and that's just not been happening. So I think it's time to reassign them. Let's get them... I think let's try a charm offensive on the Zaxoids and see if we can get those borders open again. I mean, alternatively, I can assign them to the Galactic Council, but I don't think that's going to be practical. One last log has been found and translated. Patrol log. Officer Gilgum. Detected crashed vessel on 5523X. Moved to investigate. Vessel identified as the Ravnik, Class P modular freighter. A single survivor in critical condition was recovered from the wreckage. Identity confirmed as Pirvax, boatswain's mate. Remaining crew either perished in crash or turned on each other shortly before our arrival. As per standard protocol, I am leaving this log here and registering the Ravnik as a protected grave site. End recording. So it never told us what happened. Curious. I really want to know if there's like a part 2 to this that... I don't think there will be, but... it'd be fun to have a little more, a part 2 to see exactly where the rest of that went. That was a fun one. I like that there's still stuff. I mean, this probably came in the expansion, but I do like that there's new there's events that I haven't seen in this game. It's a little bit of a highlight. We should be able to get to our archaeological sites in time. Okay, now this is a bigger question. So the Yunin system... Oh. These guys. Hello again. You'll be pleased to learn that our species has quadrupled in number since we arrived. Many of us were swept up in a festive mood when we made planetfall, and things got a bit frisky, to say the least. After the positive experience we had colonizing Baldorak, a few brave pioneers have asked me to petition you for passage to another gas giant. We have already located a promising candidate within your space that would be suitable for colonization. What do you say, friends? So, well, as long as it's another gas giant.
Situation log updated.
Marvelous. We're forwarding you the coordinates. Our colonists are eager to get underway. Okay. Oh, it's a science ship one. I wasn't expecting that. Do I really want to kill my research assist here? We'll do the archaeology after. Okay.
System survey complete.
Like I said, worlds I can claim and things I can excavate will be the priorities moving forward. This is getting upgraded, right? Yeah. Oh, this is interesting.
The faithful have claimed a new world.
Yeah, we still don't have enough weight to be able to...
Construction complete.
Throw this thing out. Okay, so first things first, Gene Clinic, as always. And it seems to me this is going to wind up being another either industrial or forge world.
Our
I think that was the
ships have
plan
been
for it
improved.
all along. Hello. All right, so I really want to know how this one wound up enslaved. But it is fair to say that Lemsa is the one that I want to have the extra pops on.
System survey complete.
How is our upgrade situation? $278? Yeah. It's got to be done at some point. I might as well get it.
Anomaly found.
A vessel of some kind has crashed into the surface of this asteroid. Wreckage from the craft can still be found within the impact crater. All right, so we'll do the mining
Our
stations.
ships have been improved.
Next step has got to be, what's the fastest way for me to get to this archaeological site? I don't think there's any other one that gets me closer than 2, so Ashamax it is. I will say we've done surprisingly well at keeping the Empire Sprawl from getting too crazy. It's obviously come at the cost of, of consumer goods.
Project complete.
All right, Amoebas pacified, temporarily refraining from venting certain emissions from our vessel's reactor cores, whilst in the immediate vicinity of Space Amoeba's flocks seems to be enough not to arouse their ire. With this new protocol in place, they no longer pose a threat, and we will be able to study them at close range. So we can also get an amoeba breeding program. Cool. We're 3 away from the Habitable World Survey. I think as a preemptive measure, let's buy up some... what did I want to spend the energy credits on? I think it was terraforming after I got past 6,000, so let's wait for 11. Crashed ore freighter. After identifying an anomaly in the gravity well E49ST, the ISS Deverick has discovered the shattered wreckage of an ancient ore super freighter buried deep within the asteroid's crust. It must have carried a full load when it crashed, and the asteroid's mineral wealth has been revised accordingly. So this won't mean a whole lot to us because it's not a system I plan on exploiting. But you never know, right? It does actually seem that if I were to push my boundaries out to the Jangle system, we would be able to claim this arm and this arm. The thing is that you can make that argument for everywhere, and there's a lot of territory that I still need to claim. So I'm saying that Yinin was my limit for now, and we'll consider the rest of it in due course. Now this is curious. So Lemsa, it's all right. It's all clerks. That makes a lot more sense. Actually, in theory, okay, so
The spirits have granted
if I'm
us
39
new wisdom.
short, that in theory means I should be building at least 3 more industrial districts. We'll add a 4th one just because it takes time. So normally I don't like... So the big thing here is I normally don't like cranking out this much, in terms of like access to jobs right away. The reason why I'm doing it is because I know that the Empire sort of needs this production. So And then I also, one thing I wanted to do... Wait, really? I've got more than one? I don't think that's true. Oh, well, I can shut up. And then the zoo. Wait, we've got a Ministry of Production, too. Oh, we just got it. Okay. Planets are big and production sites are often separated by vast distances. A coherent strategy for making certain that everyone is pulling in the same direction is often needed. Okay, so it'd be cool if I did the industrial subsidies edict, because obviously we need the extra work on artisans. I'm going to resist the urge to do that. Ministry of Production is going to be a big one for me, though. Okay. Let's think about... Okay, there's definitely some fun stuff for me to play with here, but regenerative hull tissue I've been sitting on for a while. Let's do a quick audit of my worlds just to make sure I'm not missing out on anything too crazy. So Aranes, normally I would want some kind of an upgrade on, but I believe we are already going to be producing 4 new jobs. Lemsa, 8 jobs, plus all of those industrial districts, so it's going to take us forever to fill those up. Looks like Wentworth can be upgraded now. Technically, okay, so there'll already be jobs that get filled there. I am going to build another city district, though. Yeah, this is actually going to need a little bit more finesse. I'll build a second, just for starters. Tay Prime, we've got 4 jobs, and 8 jobs. And yeah. We're going to be waiting a while on those, I think. It's a couple of these systems that I'm really on the fence in terms of exactly what I want to do with them. Now, let me just get a... Okay, so these colony ships...
Construction complete.
Yeah, they're doing what they should. Jabba Starbase. Alright, kinship, a true sense of... Sorry, I didn't even read the mind and body one. So the previous upgrade, by embracing a combination of new meditation techniques and healthier eating habits, a large segment of our population enjoys a greater life expectancy than ever before. Next up, kinship. A true sense of kinship is developed between all the citizens of our great star nation, regardless of their place in the social order. The time it takes for an unemployed pop to demote to a lower stratum is reduced by 25%. Again, I don't expect this to ever actually be a problem, but you never know.
Construction complete.
I'd love to upgrade this, but I think it's a little optimistic for now. I feel like a disruption field generator would not be... Wait. I'm sure I'll do some anchorages and such later. Actually, we're doing really well for alloys right now, so... Okay, so there's no trade for this world. We've got the black site. Maybe a resource silo.
Our ships have been improved.
This is the real problem with this star. Why did I build this starbase? I mean, I guess it protects a valuable world, but like... I have so many other worlds that need protecting. Okay, one star base is accounted for. We're going to build one here. We're going to build one on Misa. Possibly Lisak if I'm feeling really optimistic, but I just don't think we're going to be able to withstand the. I don't think it's useful for me to try and protect that far against a fallen empire. If they want to crush me, they're going to crush me. And then this is within borders, so this isn't actually all that troublesome. Yeah, so I guess the remaining bases... I've got 3 that I haven't really accounted for yet. Now, one thing I could try and do would be to disrupt all the piracy happening inside here. Actually, okay, so there's one thing I can do to stop this piracy to begin with, and that would be to start putting down some hangar bays. Let's take a look at some of these protection numbers. Yeah, so... Okay, for starters, let's get... And if I'm not mistaken, the hangar bay is better for trade protect, yeah, than all these other ones. So I think as a default, I'm going to put a hangar bay on. Yinan does not seem to have any trade in range. Well, it doesn't have any trade in range right now, but that's probably going to change. I mean, probably the port's better here, because I get to scoop up all of these plus the ones in the region. Side nope. Yeah, so if I put one in side nope, then I'd claim these automatically. And then possibly add a second one, and then we get Borobo. That's not something I need to think about right now, though. But yeah, on its own, there's not a whole lot of trade. Okay, let's leave that be then. Let's take a quick second here and see whether or not I can change any policies. So currently my diplomatic stance is expansionist, so outpost... You know what? I'm still actually going to be doing a lot of outpost building and colony development, so it sucks that there's going to be more border friction. Let's think about where we would want to move forward. So first of all, we are never going... Well, okay, hang on. Supremacist would give us... I'm not going to say that we will eliminate this as a possibility, but I am going to have some really big changes in this playthrough before we go supremacist. And we're not fanatic purifiers, so that's not going to be a problem. So isolationist, what would we gain from being an isolationist? We couldn't improve relations, although to be honest, improving relations hasn't really gotten us very far so far. Diplomatic weight goes down, our monthly unity goes up, as does our administrative capacity, so both of those are music to my ear. Better governing ethics, and border friction gets even worse, so I would need to be prepared for a fight. If I try to be cooperative, I wouldn't be able to harm relations as effectively, fair enough. Better diplomatic weight, better improve relations, nice. Border friction, so we don't have too much of it, but it might help. But operation costs go up, so we couldn't put on a smiling face. Huh, okay. And then belligerent, lower war exhaustion, better naval capacity, lower claim influence. Definitely not where I want to be going. So really it would have to be... I mean, maybe what I would be doing, isolationist. Oddly enough, I might actually go from expansionist to isolationist. And what I would be doing is I'd be moving my my envoys away from diplomatic relations, and I would just move them into operations. Okay. Cool. We might actually see this thing fail. Okay, buzzword standardization. We have to enable our enterprises to work seamlessly with one another. Streamlining strategic communications empowers our agents, making hitting key performance metrics easier. Diplomatic weight from economy, higher trade value, bureaucrat upkeep goes up. That I'm not as crazy about, given that that will be another hit to my consumer goods. My economy... not as good as my rivals, but it's... Okay, oddly enough, it is one of my better features. Huh. So actually my pops is a surprisingly high value. My tech is pretty low. That's very concerning. I think I'll try supporting it for now. I can always change my mind. Eventually I'll build a bunch of anchorages to get this naval capacity under control. I just have other
Our ships
other
have
needs.
been improved.
Again, we're going to be hearing this for a while.
System survey complete.
All right, what are we looking at here? All right, this is just warning me about my consumer goods. I'll sort it out now.
Our ships have been improved.
I'm being a little stubborn on this, but it's partly just because I would like to I really would like to try and build towards a sustainable economy. Right now, I can afford to do this. Clearly, if I feel like I'm putting too much into like building myself out, I can change the planet type again. But for now, I'm going to try and make this work. Following these upgrades, we're going to go to Thuban. This is just so that we can claim Ibleria and the riser system, so we can build the defenses. I'll probably actually go to Dressel and Aruz next, just because of the moats and the crystals.
The spirits have granted us
and then we can take
wisdom.
Messia and Doranam. All right. Regenerative hull tissue, a genetically altered version of silicon-based bacteria, could potentially be manipulated to regenerate non-organic materials. I don't think I'm quite ready for a psionic army yet. I might actually just go for the... I think I'm just going to go for the cheap stuff.
Our ships have been improved.
We can't. We don't have the...
Our ships have been improved.
Tricky.
System survey complete. Our ships have been improved.
So I'm a little surprised that with all of the hangars I just built... Oh no, hang on. Yeah, that's not so surprising.
Our ships have been improved.
So I have a couple
Our
of options
ships
in terms
have
of
been
how I can build
improved.
out my star bases. One thing I could try and do is just follow the trade route and protect the trade route accordingly. The other thing I can try and do is build them over systems that I own, and in that case I'd be able to get the Unity bonuses from the dark sites. We're doing okay for alloys, so I don't mind kicking the can down the road and just improving what I have already, but at some point I'm going to need to make a decision on these. All right, the Racket Industrial Enterprise. It is not a relic, it is an antique. Just think, it survived this many centuries already, built to last. What can you offer us? All right, we have good workers for you. Good lifters, draggers, pullers, cleanest, healthy, clever. Give us 500 alloys and we shall send 4 Racket Pops to one of your planets. What, criminal records? Afraid we've lost the papers. Yeah. And they will arrive on Aranus. Well, I might probably relocate them. So certainly we accept your deal. A pleasure, a joy to deal with the Black Codex. We will visit again. Okay, so Aranus, let's first of all see what these folks can do. Well, I mean, I'm not upset to see some slavery here, but so the real question is, can I redirect these workers? So here's an example of something that won't work. Try and put these Racket workers into Lemsa. Because these specialized, I don't believe these can be slavery jobs. So okay, so they're unhappy because they're slaves. Fair enough. Tomb World preference. So they're going to be. I mean, okay. Overall, they're going to be not crazy about their lot in life. I think we'll just leave it at that. And part of this is really just so that I can boost up the move to the planetary capital and be able to build the production enhancer. Although we need 40 jobs for that, so we're going to be a way off. Okay, well, we were waiting for this to happen. The agreement we signed giving you access to our databanks has run its course. Would you like to extend it for another 10 standard years, or do your researchers no longer require the information we offer? We would like to extend the deal. And actually, while I'm at it, let's just trade. I think I can afford 10,000. It's a little dicey. You know what? Screw it. I want to terraform another world. We've been waiting too long on this. Okay, so within reach of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. So Lyrim's kind of an outlier. Lemsa is the capital. Excuse me. Okay, so I've got a size 17 Savannah Alpine. Okay, so it's either Epsilon Indy or Vexus. Well, this one will cause more rebels. Yeah, we'll terraform this one. And eventually I should probably start building some armies. But one thing at a time. Alright, no surprises there. I'm actually going to let this ride out for a little bit longer. Thank you, Mosquito Controller. It's just spring. Overall, I am happy about the fact that the weather's changing, but unfortunately, I never did look at the rest of my policies. I may have to change the economic policy. I really don't want to, though. CR9 956 is home to a number of exquisite impact craters. However, something breaks the visual uniformity in one of the larger craters. So we'll research that. Would I be willing to give up energy credits in order to... Well, consumer benefits for sure. Marketplace of ideas would definitely be a little bit stronger for me right now. Right now, however, given my energy credit situation, I simply can't afford that. Okay, I think I can live with what we've got right now. These shipboard lab facilities incorporate advanced technologies from the ancient curator order to further increase survey speeds. So, more boom is most tempting. I think in this case, though, because my energy credits are starting to fall back a little bit, I think I'm going to do quantum field. I'd normally want to do plasma thrower, but in this case I actually think, well, also the improved deflectors. Quantum field manipulation is going to... I'm trying to anticipate some hits to my energy credit total before too long.
Construction complete. We are spreading our faith to a new world. Our ships have been improved. Our ships have been improved.
My food situation's not as good as I would want it to be as well. But I feel like that's something... I feel like that's gonna probably solve itself after a while. Alien drag racing. The crater on CR9 956 exhibits long, irregular marks imprinted onto the relatively soft upper layers of the asteroid. Science officer Sari Dehen has recovered some interesting, unexpected wreckage from the edges of the depression. Wheeled vehicles, and for whatever reason, Stellaris just minimized. Wheeled vehicles, seemingly personal transports rather than research craft. The crew of the ISS Deverick speculate that the crater may once have been used for sport, with some alien species pitting their personal locomotion devices against each other in tests of mechanical strength or speed in near zero G. Okay.
Our ships have been improved.
I've accomplished most of my expansion goals that I wanted to tonight. but I'm
Our
back to
ships
being a
have been
little
improved.
uncertain in terms of my
Construction
overall
complete.
economic picture. Latest generation of Corvette hulls. Right, we'll do this one at a time. Esteemed Patriarch Cal Bascool, a decade ago, the Black Codex pledged to support the artisan troop, and so you have. The time of your patronage is coming to an end, but we would be remiss not to ask, would you care to renew your subscription to the finest arts and crafts in the galaxy? It's a deal. All right, latest generation of Corvette hulls have optimized structural integrity fields and improved bulkheads. So the synthetic plants really don't drive me wild. I usually want something a little bit more convincing. Improved strikecraft is tempting, but the plasma thruster is, especially given the size of my empire. It's different of about 14 months. I think I'm going to do the plasma thruster. Okay, so we've got Ashamax. Let's build the research and the mining stations. So yeah,
Our ships have been improved.
obvious expansion targets 1, 2.
Special project complete.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Misa would be 6. So I've got 8 in total. And then eventually, like the rest of this, I do want to fill in, but this is kind of targets of opportunity, right? They at this point, they won't have worlds that I want to colonize. They won't have sort of special resources. I will eventually want to work on the archaeological sites and such, but special project completed. As before, a convoy of freighters was assembled to safely transport the Daphnet colonists inside pressurized gas tanks. After a brief journey, they successfully made planetfall on the gas giant, which they have named New Baldorak. A satellite was left in orbit to allow for long-range communication with Baldorak. Make the most of it, Daphnak. And we will need to redirect a ship to do the social research.
Our ships have been improved.
If there was a way to turn off that notification for this base.
Our ships have been improved.
So the way I see it, we're likely not going to be able to afford the curator and
Our ships have been improved.
the curator and the name artisan troop. I don't think we're going to be able to afford both of those deals.
Our ships have been improved.
Next cycle, so I do want to be looking at my energy credits. But again, I want to do that in a somewhat meaningful approach. One thing that is worth mentioning, right? I take a look at my different worlds. Which of them is the most obvious energy credit world? Like none of these new worlds that I've expanded to are natural candidates for improving the number of generator districts. It does seem to be the capital world is the one that's really doing that. So what I may wind up... Actually, it looks like we're already at that point. From beneath the waves, the colonizers on Aranus Prime regularly explore the planet in hopes of finding more resources to help with day-to-day life. A recent expedition to the North Pole has now unveiled a large object on the bottom of the ocean, an alien battle cruiser. The pressure of the deep will prove a challenge, but it is possible to get to the ship.
Situation log updated.
All right, looks like a bunch of stuff just happened there. Oh, okay, this is an engineering research. I think... working on the plasma thruster. I think I want to keep that for myself. And we now have the global defense grid. This was more just so I could draw, again, reasonably quickly. The strategic value of a good defense remains as relevant today as it was to our predecessors in the far distant past. Technology does not render fortifications obsolete. It merely changes their requirements. Okay. So, hostile environment adaptation is tempting because of the additional habitability. There are a couple of worlds which are not ideal, and so the ability to get my workers working more efficiently and to be able to get them working, just generally to get the costs for keeping them happy down would be good. That's going to cost me, 29 months. Building slots +1. I think that's referring to the special buildings. This does also unlock the infrastructure path, which would be kind of tempting. Xenodiplomacy, You know what? I'm going to go for it because it's the cheapest. It's also a specialization, so I'll get a little bit more out of that as well. But I do need to start thinking along these lines. Yeah, it's just I want to try and make my diplomatic weight count for a little bit more. I think I might call it an even... Ah, are you serious? That's not enough to push it over the edge. How did they get to you? Okay. Relations are improving. What I'm really trying to do here is get the non-aggression pact, but I think that's a pretty... I think that's going to be a bit of a pipe dream. Well, you know... I'm trying to remember exactly what are improved relations. I think there's like a cap to this, isn't there? I don't know. We'll see what the envoy can get us. I don't think it's impossible. Oh, somebody's on the sidelines again. I won't call in the favor because it's not going to make the difference one way or the other. But I am interested in seeing it. Like, it's definitely in my interest that we delay the formation of the council. Two months. Well, this is never good news. Okay, so they are going to go to work on Lemsa. I'm not happy to see, you know, my own people wind up as slaves, but the fact that I can buy them back gives me a free pop, which is kind of nice. Although I should take a quick look and see if any of that if that migration winds up going towards enemy. Now this is interesting. So this, I suspect, is probably a big change. What happened here? I think that might be a change in intel or relationships. Yeah, we just hit 60, so I'm curious about this one. Our operatives will provide untraceable weapons and ships to subversive elements within the target empire, giving them the means to spread chaos and destruction. Well, I'm not going to complain about the opportunity. This would probably be around the time I would try to acquire another asset. The only problem is it has a 900 cost, and I'm still trying to sort of repair my finances. All right, good news. The Senate has voted on and failed the resolution form Galactic Council, so we don't need to worry about that for the time being. We will build onto Hydrobius when we can. All right, we're covered for both of these. Okay, I'm just going to get myself set up. I think I'm going to call that here. I know this is a little bit more of a calm run, but I am going to do a quick review of the evening's goals. What we'll be working on next week. I'll very briefly talk about what I'm up to. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's coming up this week, just very briefly though, because I'd love to be able to host someone tonight. Looks like there's a few good people online. But yeah, so here are the big, and then I want to do I want to try and set myself up for next week's run. So this is a little bit of a calmer, overall, just kind of numbers wise too. A bit of a calmer stream, but I also think it's because there's a kind of a whale like streamer streaming tonight, so there's no real surprises there. So here's the overall plan. First of all, the way that I'm managing my planets here, as soon as it gets down to 2 jobs, I try to build out the next little bit of infrastructure. Now, I've changed this around a little bit. One, because I have an energy priority on the Empire capital. Eventually, this will translate into upgrading the energy grid and such. But basically, I'm just trying to head off what's going to become an energy crisis before too long. All of these worlds are going to get filled up, and not all of these worlds have energy credits on them. So I'm trying to use technology, and I'm trying to use my existing endowments to improve that. One thing I may wind up doing as well, so this is the starting capital world, right? There's nothing saying that I need to keep the original configuration. We are doing perfectly well on minerals. There's really no reason for this world to be mineral specialized. Actually, you know what? Oh, I can't turn it into... Right, I can't turn it into generator districts because I've maxed my generator districts. Okay, that makes sense. So before I do that, I should clear out some ruined arcologies. This will also help me tech-wise, but it does carry an energy cost, so... And looks like actually we're not blocked. Okay, so we are at a hard cap in terms of our energy generators. That's reasonably good to know, because now my trade-off is going to be between things like city districts and these other factors. So I can build 4 more city districts on its own, 1, 2, 3, 4, which then invites the question, why would I want to build any more? I suppose that's population. I guess it would be housing that I would do that for. But I feel like I have other options available to me there. So this might actually be the final form. Maybe the one change I would make is change some of my mining districts into industrial districts. I'm not quite in a position to shift the food into industry, but if I can get my farming world maybe a little bit better positioned, I don't know. We'll look into it. But I should get rid of ruined arcology at this point. I'm a bit behind the curve on that, but better late than never. Castra's my bureaucratic center now. I'd of course love to be able to throw a bunch more bureaucratic buildings at my problems. I'm really not in a position to be able to do that yet. And I'm going to actually have to make some very clear decisions in terms of where I want to put these crystals. I do have a reasonable surplus of them. I'm currently sitting on 4, but when you take a look at the overall demands for these crystals that I have throughout the Empire, that surplus is not going to look all that impressive, given enough time. So for now, I think we're just going to sit put on Castra. Entham is my forge world. Now, this is probably a stupid decision, but I do want to give myself a realistic picture in terms of what I'm actually committing myself to, sort of industry-wise. So again, the plan for this world is basically to just go hard on industry. Eventually, I would like to build a Ministry of Production, but obviously we're going to need to get to 40 pops for that. We're nowhere close to 40 pops. It may be that I need to start building some more city districts so that I can get some more building slots. What I'd likely wind up doing in this case, to be completely honest with you, is to build more alloyed foundries. But again, like the way I tend to play Stellaris is that any surplus consumer goods is wasted production. So I wanted to try and get this as a Forge world as early as I could and just try and build my way into consumer goods. Unfortunately, I think I relied on the consumer goods production from this world for a little too long, and I'm paying that price now. Grimmon's my agri world. Now, I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory here. In fact, I'll just seal the deal and we'll build one more agricultural district. We are playing a little bit of catch-up here. I mean, maybe I should have moved the the workers that we bought from the racket workers. Maybe I should have moved them onto the agricultural world. We're currently still in a surplus. We're in double digits, but this used to be 40 once upon a time. And I could have sworn once upon a time there was a decision that would allow you to spend food to accelerate your growth, but I've apparently lost it. That or I just have forgotten what I need to do to meet that. Incidentally, there is one thing that's important to note. Like, once I start getting to, like, when I'm at let's say a size 40 planet or something like that, there is a reasonably good argument for me to say that I can replace the gene clinics with something else. Like, this gene clinic here is to be able to get my pop growth speed. It's nice to have the amenities and whatnot, but most of my worlds are okay for amenities at the time being. If I'm feeling really constrained in terms of my specialist buildings, I can convert these gene clinics into something else. But again, like for an agri world, the question is, what is that something else? So we're doing okay here. Eventually I'll want to start clearing out things like the dense jungle, but these things have energy credit costs. I'm a bit strained on energy credits, so I'm just going to leave it be for now. We'll have plenty of workers to fill those roles. Aranus Prime, now why are you listed as a refinery world? Because that doesn't make any sense at all. On paper, this would look like either a really good mining world or a really good industrial world. So refiner upkeep, yeah, nope. The AI's got some very curious ideas about what it should be. So I guess my options here would be to make it an urban world. So industrial districts costs go down. If I want to go hard on an industrial world, better build speed, but not a better cost. So I think an urban world probably makes the most sense here. So I'm glad I could get that little efficiency in. Of course, we're still waiting for the available jobs to get filled up, so nothing going on there. Lemsa, I mean, we already know what's happening here. It's building up the mode harvesting traps. Isolated Valley, what does that do again? Yeah, Alien Zoo. Can I actually build that? I don't think I need a tech upgrade for that. One way or the other, this is currently my only industrial world, and the plan is to put a Ministry of Production on that. Which, again, we need a capital planet, planetary capital, and we are 25 workers away from that, so we'll be waiting a while. This world is going to absolutely crush my my need for consumer goods. This is why I'm thinking we're probably going to need a second industrial world. This is going to be focused on culture workers and researchers. Now, right now, I don't have any research facilities, which is a shame. By the way, what is this current? Yeah, okay, this is assigned as a tech world, as it should be. Let's actually make that permanent. I don't believe there's any more specialized districts for me to build here, but let me just double check. Nope, we're good. But yeah, so this is eventually going to be just drowning in cultural and research work. All right, so this is listed as a mining world right now, and this is silly. I don't want this to be a mining world. So build speed, miner output. This mining district is really just here so that I can sort of start feeding into the extra. Actually, you know what? I've just found my new industrial world. Because I've got 7 available right now, so 3 of 10. Okay, 3 of 10 total districts built. Huh. Does this imply that if I were to free up these districts, I would get even more industrial districts? I don't know. anyways, this, like, if I turn this into a dedicated industrial world, I don't feel like I'd be losing too much. Tay Prime. Actually, come to think of it, this... Okay, well, this... Okay, yeah, this is a tough one, actually. So this could be... this could be good for agriculture, this could be good for industry, or I could turn this into another bureaucratic center. Ideally, I only have one bureaucratic center. The good news is that there's 4 jobs currently available on this world, so I don't need to think about it right now. Borobo Prime is a pretty good candidate for another Forge world, although I'm a little worried that I am spending a lot of effort on the acquisition of alloys and not enough on keeping my Empire Sprawl down and my Unity technology up. So I may need to reconsider this distribution of specialized worlds. I think it's basically because now that this industrial sector exists, I'm spending a lot of time thinking about how to improve it. So anyways, those are some broad strokes in terms of how we're going to be expanding out. The next planets we'll take, so Epsilon Indi is already going to fall within this existing sector. That will also apply for Evexis and possibly Kalajam, although that's a fairly low priority world. Actually, maybe that one becomes a new bureaucratic center. I'm not sure. Obviously, this is going to take a long time, though, because it takes a long time to convert planets, and we don't really have the energy credits to be able to get that work done. We will very slowly start filling in these gaps. Again, priorities being worlds that we can colonize. So in this case, there's only one of those right now. Oh, sorry, 2 of those, but this is going to take us a while to get to. What I may wind up doing is, at some point, is taking the fleet out for a spin, because we can now start beating up the mining drones, get a little bit of exploration within our own borders. I don't think we're quite ready to go after the enigmatic energy. It's a fair fight, and I don't like fair fights. I like ones where I can absolutely pummel them. And then, assuming that all of this expansion business happens in a reasonably good clip, the question really becomes, do I... Like, okay, so essentially, once all is said and done, like, once I find my equilibrium in terms of my planets, the question is going to be, do I think that there is an advantage to giving the Zaxoid Stellar Confederation a bloody nose at the start? Like, do I think that I would be able to go in and take some worlds off them early on, and in a way that doesn't result in me getting absolutely demolished by their stronger fleets? Or do I have a plan for basically taking more of the galaxy, more of this arm, and essentially turning that into, turn that into the resources under which I would be able to prosecute a war. Now, it may be that the Zaxoids aren't the people who I need to worry about, and that it just, for whatever reason, I can find the path to the Vitricious hive, and I can start eating them instead. Or maybe I don't need to go to war at all. But basically, that's kind of the bigger question here, is that right now I'm kind of a junior player in the galaxy right now, and I don't like that. I want to be bigger. And so, I'd feel reasonably confident being able to overcome the Giroid Empire. The Zaxoid Stellar Confederation is definitely starting to run away from us. The Vitricious hive is really, they're very strong. And the thing is that I haven't really moved, like, in terms of the ordinal rankings, I really haven't moved at all since we first found these other species. And one of the biggest factors behind this is just simply the fact that I've been imposing a lot of costs to myself as a result of this Empire Sprawl, and I haven't been able, either I haven't been able, or I haven't properly compensated for them by building out the infrastructure that I need to overcome it. So again, consumer goods is a pretty high priority. You just saw me start angling a second planet towards the production of those. Once we're able to sort of balance that out a little bit better, the hope is, of course, that these will be sort of reinforcing. So the additional consumer goods will feed into more bureaucratic centers, which will get the Empire Sprawl down. So not only will we have better, more research, but the hope is that it will also be going, the more research will also be going into things that will ultimately be researched faster. So the costs will go down in addition to the amount of brain power that I have towards these problems. And then as a little bit further down the road, again, we're doing okay in terms of alloys, in terms of production, but I do want to start just improving the overall state of my station. There's a lot of unused capabilities on my star bases. I also have some star bases that I haven't built yet, but I need to sort of sit and think about whether or not I want to build star bases to deal with the scary red skulls. Oh, that's really interesting. So it's really only once they start going into this territory. How much you want to bet these go away? How much you want to bet is those go away as soon as I... Okay, I'm going to make a guess here that as soon as I actually start building... like once I put these into my territory, these will cease to be red zones. Well, if that's true, then what's going on here? Well, okay, no, what's going on here is high value trade. So they would normally be protected, except that the value of the trade coming out of there is too high. Okay. Yeah, so the question becomes, do I want to spend those star bases to defend my existing trade routes, or do I want to use those star bases to be, build black sites over my planets and such? That's a question for another day. I think the consumer goods is the higher priority one. Sorry to spend so much time navel gazing. That is it for the Black Codex tonight. Quick preview of what's happening on the channels. That's going to be both Twitch and YouTube now, because YouTube, I've actually been very pleasantly surprised by sort of the development of the YouTube channel. I'm slowly progressing towards another another YouTube-only thing. I'm not ready to say what it is, because I'm also experimenting in ways to make the weights for my YouTube stuff a little bit better. But overall plans. Monday, if you're here for Stellaris, that's going to be Monday evenings for the foreseeable future. For those of you who like the Elder Scrolls vodcasts, there's actually a couple of details that you may want to know. So it's 7 o'clock every Tuesday. Now, there's a pre-recorded video which comes online. It's a vodcast. I try to be as active in chat as I can. I usually spend that time to try and get some work done. But if I see somebody in the chat, I'll definitely be responding to them. Now, the one thing I should say is that this savages my Twitch stats, because the quality of that video is not as good as the one on YouTube. So really, if you want to be watching that if you want to watch that vodcast, it's really for the chat. The video that is on the YouTube page is 1440 lines of resolution. So I guess it's like 2K, it gets called, 60 frames. And I have been able to start recording those a week in advance now. So the one that comes live at 7 o'clock on YouTube should actually be full resolution. And I know that has not been true for the past month or so. Wednesday, I think there might be another Phantom Brigade patch that's coming out. If Phantom Brigade gets an update, then we'll be doing Phantom Brigade on Wednesday. If there is no update, then I would really like to get back to Industries of Titan, because I did not make a lot of progress on the new update, and I really, really, really want to get back to that. Friday, we will be doing Hollow Knight. We've finally taken down the Pantheon of the Artists, so there is at least one more, I suspect 2 more, to do at the God Home DLC, and I think that might actually be it. At that point, we might be ready to take on the Hollow Knight itself, but we'll see where our percentages are there. So those are the live cast plans. In addition, on YouTube, so there's these VODs that wind up uploaded. But I will say Wednesdays and Fridays, for those of you that don't know, there have been 20-minute episodes of Cultist Simulator. So I've been doing the Apostle Obstinate playthrough. That has been the continuation of the last Cultist Simulator streams that I did. So if you do enjoy Cultist Sim, those are available in a big, long playlist. I believe there's about 52 episodes. Not necessarily all of them are available, because there are 2 that are waiting to be unlocked at the appropriate times. Those go live at 6 o'clock on Wednesdays and Fridays, And that is one of the reasons why I don't do weekend casts anymore, because I spend all my time recording those. But I am looking into more narrative stuff. I'm looking into more sort of games that lend themselves towards that VOD format. I've been really pleasantly surprised by the reception of YouTube. So I don't want to ignore the Twitch channel, but if you are interested in some of the stuff that I used to play on the channel and wonder what happened to them, it's because those games seem to fit very well for something that I could do in smaller periods of time, and as a result, I was able to sort of try and keep all sides happy. And there's a couple of things which I have been asked to do, I'm really excited to do, but I'm not allowed to talk about. So I'm actually really looking forward to the next few weeks of streaming, and I will let you know as soon as I know. But I have spent too much time talking about myself, for which I apologize. Let's take a look and see who's online, because there's actually a few really interesting people. Yeah, there's Ponce, Blaster 1. You know what? Some of you have seen him in chat, but Valiant Cheese is working on Hive Time. So Hive Time is a pay-what-you-want bee-themed city builder. This is actually a game, if you've not checked it out, I would really encourage you to see it. Valiant Cheese is an Australian developer based in Tasmania, and he uses a lot of free and open source tools. So he uses the Godot engine, uses Blender. He also does a lot of stuff himself. So either recording, he sometimes does some music for himself. He did recording of all the bee sound effects. Hive Time's a really special game, and I think if you like strategy games like Stellaris, you should probably check it out. But more importantly, Valiant Cheese is very good at showing people the tools that he uses, and just generally helps to get people into these into game development, and he's really good to follow if you have been interested in game development and want to learn some of the tools. He's very good at answering questions as well, so I'm rather excited to be able to host him. I hope you all treat him well, and thank you yourself, Mosquito Controller. I'm sorry it took me so long to wrap up, but I'm done for tonight. Thank you. I'll see some of you either tomorrow on the vodcast or Wednesday for Phantom Brigade. For the Stellaris only group, I will see you all in a week. Thanks for watching, and enjoy Valiant Cheese's Hive Time.